Qin Xiaoyu would have never imagined. The shadow overlord she tried so desperately to please in the game was actually her own brother, Qin Feng, the one she personally cut ties with. And yet, her gameplay was so garbage, even simps couldn't stand this useless, cute noob. Out of options, she kicked open Qin Feng's door, begging for help. But at that moment, Qin Feng was deep in the ruins, solo grinding monsters. He had spent years hiding his identity. If exposed now, chaos would follow. In his previous life, to protect this half-sister, Qin Feng chose the harshest path, a frontline warrior. He clawed his way up from the bottom, just to give her a peaceful life. And what did he get in return? Her ruthless betrayal. She joined forces with his enemies and poisoned him when his guard was down. Then, without a shred of mercy, she gouged out his eyes, all to win the approval of her so-called idol. Qin Feng glared at her, demanding, "Why did you do this to me?" But all he got in return was a face full of disgust, and a traitor's blade swinging right at him. As the world faded, one thought consumed him. If I get another life, I swear I'll live for myself. Maybe the heavens heard him, because the next moment, he woke up still alive, and back in the real world on the very day the game descended. Just then, the door burst open. Qin Xiaoyu stormed in, yelling why he hadn't answered her calls. Exactly like last time, even Song Fei showed up, the same scumbag who betrayed him before. Back then, Song Fei was a minor underground idol with a cult following, and Qin Xiaoyu? His #1 delusional fangirl. But now that Qin Feng saw through their masks, there was no need to play nice. He slapped her across the face, sending her crashing to the ground. She stared up in shock, completely frozen. Qin Feng's voice was icy. "Bark at me one more time, and I'll shatter your mouth with my fist." Then, he tossed her the bank card their parents left behind. "For mom and dad's sake, I'll let it slide this once. But hear this loud and clear. From this moment on, Qin Feng has no sister. In his past life, Qin Feng gave up too many chances just to protect Qin Xiaoyu. But now that the burden was gone, he was ready to find out how far he could truly go. Armed with everything he learned in his previous life, he would race ahead of all other players. Untouchable. And as for Song Fei, Qin Feng swore he'd personally send that rat to hell. The class selection hall, it felt so nostalgic now. He remembered how lost he was the first time, wasting hours just to pick a class. Back then, he chose warrior to protect Qin Xiaoyu. It was powerful, yes, but never suited his style. Agility had always been his real strength. So this time, he picked assassin without hesitation. And the system instantly bound him to a divine artifact, the Eye of Judgment. Unique trait, authority of judgment. Upon entering the game, player is granted the highest tier class and talent automatically. So that's how it works. Once a divine artifact chooses you, no one else can steal it. And because of this bond, the system upgraded him into a hidden class on the spot. System notice, class transfer complete. Congratulations, you are now / Shadow. So this was the assassin's one and only hidden class, and unlike his past life, the power it gave right from the start was on a whole different level. Normally, players only have a tiny chance to unlock an advanced hidden class. But with the authority of judgment, that chance became absolute. Qin Feng hadn't realized it before. This authority was the primordial power, the oldest and most authentic force in the universe, surpassing all rules and order itself. Unfortunately, without divinity, he couldn't yet activate its passive effects. In his previous life, it wasn't until the 7th year after the game's descent that a human finally escaped the Forsaken Realm and reached the Realm of Order. That was the first time humanity learned the truth about order. But now, Qin Feng started the game with a power that transcended both rules and order. If he could reach the Realm of Order and obtain divinity, he could fully awaken the authority that he knew. His journey had only just begun. Suddenly, a system prompt appeared, asking him to choose a player alias. Without hesitation, Qin Feng typed in Shadow. System notice, you are entering the Forsaken Realm. Leaving the starter town and slaying monsters will earn you tradable lifespan. However, if you die, half of your total lifespan, both tradable and non-tradable, will be deducted. At the same time, more players were logging in. Powerful figures from across the world would soon arrive and reshape the entire structure of this new world. Qin Feng knew one thing. He had to stay ahead of them all. But just as he stepped through the teleportation gate, he saw several player corpses already lying cold on the ground. These monsters are insane. A level 1 crawler just wiped out a third of my HP in one hit. What am I supposed to do now? The blonde girl who shouted that turned out to be a hidden class player herself. She was using a longbow instead of the usual shortbow. She also noticed Qin Feng's unusual gear and instantly realized he was a hidden class too. "Hey, Shadow Cohen / want to party up?" she asked with a sweet smile. Qin Feng didn't even glance at her. No, he had no time to waste with amateurs. But as he walked away, the blonde girl subtly signaled her teammates to follow him. Part of her wanted to learn more about the monsters, the other part. She just wanted to see how this mysterious guy would die. But the more she observed, the more unsettled she became. Qin Feng's gear was nothing like a normal assassin's. His speed was unnatural. Even his armor looked custom-made. Qin Feng had already sensed them tailing him. Without hesitation, he activated his class skill, Shadow Meld. In a flash, his entire figure vanished from sight. /skill, Shadow Meld, enter temporary invisibility. Attacking in stealth but triggers Shadow Break Strike for bonus damage. Passive, Stealth Mastery, doubles stealth duration and increases stealth level by +1. In the early stages of the game, neither monsters nor players could detect Qin Feng while he was in stealth. His invisibility was about to end, but thankfully, the cooldown started the moment the skill was activated. Just a few more seconds, and he could vanish again. All players began with base stats of 10 points, and different classes offered bonus attributes. In his past life, the warrior class only gave him +3 to strength and constitution. But this time, every attribute received a bonus, and his agility soared by 8 full points. Without hesitation, Qin Feng allocated all of his free stat points into agility. For Shadow, speed was everything. Early on, no matter how you distributed your points, any monster could still one-shot a player. Only high agility offered a chance at flawless kills through pure speed. Just then, a sound echoed from up ahead. A level 1 crawler, slowly devouring a fallen player's lifespan. This must have been the same one that wiped out the blonde girl's team. Judging from the wounds, they'd at least managed to injure it before dying, as so monsters could gain lifespan by killing players, and even evolve by consuming it. Suddenly, the crawler lunged straight at Qin Feng. Reacting instantly, he activated Shadow Meld, vanishing before the beast's eyes. The crawler flailed and thrashed around, desperately trying to locate its prey. Qin Feng made his move. Bursting forward in a blur, he leapt onto its head and launched a devastating Shadow Break Strike from behind. One blow. That was all it took. With the bonus from his backstab passive, the damage doubled, and the crawler dropped instantly. In his past life, as a warrior, his strongest critical hit only dealt 40 damage. He had to struggle and bleed just to bring down a single crawler. That blonde girl's entire team had been wiped out by this one monster. Judging by the numbers, they probably lost over 100 years of lifespan combined, yet the loot only yielded 54 years, most of which were non-tradable and temporarily useless. Just as Qin Feng was starting to feel disappointed, a system alert popped up, /Authority of Judgment activated. Congratulations! You've obtained the primordial talent, Infinite Evolution. /Talent, Infinite Evolution. When solo, killing monsters grants a chance to earn evolution points. You gain 5 points automatically every day. Killing boss-tier monsters solo guarantees evolution points. A talent like this, Qin Feng had never even heard of it in his past life. So this was the power that transcended all rules and order. Time to test it out. He'd start by evolving Shadow Meld and Backstab. Shadow Meld duration increased from 12 to 16 seconds. Shadow Break Strike damage boosted from 60 to 90. Backstab damage bonus rose from 10% to 15%. Together, they now offered near limitless stealth combat potential. Qin Feng thought to himself, if I'd had these upgraded skills earlier, even a full HP crawler would have died in one blow. Just then, a voice called out from behind Qin Feng. Look at that skinny guy. Took down a monster all by himself. This game's a joke. With my build, I could probably take on 10 of those things. But as he bragged, a pair of blood-red eyes lit up on the tree trunk behind him. A brood mother had appeared. Qin Feng instantly activated Shadow Meld, vanishing from sight. The two guys blinked, confused. Where had he gone? They had no idea the brood mother was already crawling above their heads. And she wasn't alone. Several venomous spiderlings followed behind. What the hell is that thing? One of them finally looked up. There it was, a level 1 bronze-ranked brood mother, accompanied by a normal level purple spider. Technically, the brood mother was just a starter boss with 1,600 HP. But with her minions and attack power, she was no pushover for new players. Perfect. Let's test out my upgraded skill on you. Qin Feng muttered, eyes locked on the brood mother. In a blur, he unleashed a Shadow Break strike, slamming the enhanced blow straight into the monster's core. At the same moment, he sidestepped to evade the incoming venomous spike. Without missing a beat, he reactivated Shadow Meld, slipping back into stealth. That damage was insane. 338 points from a weak spot strike. Good thing my agility is high. With only 130 HP, if that thing had hit me once, I'd be dead on the spot. Just then, the brood mother screeched and thrashed violently. It had entered rage mode. Despite being a low-level creature, it clearly had some intelligence. It wasn't just going to sit there and take hits anymore. It began firing off wild, indiscriminate attacks, trying to expose his location. And with spiderlings patrolling around it, Qin Feng knew getting close now would be suicide. Qin Feng quickly assessed the situation. His damage wasn't just from raw attack power. It came from the synergy between Shadow Meld's burst, his hidden class bonuses, and effects like backstab and weak spot hits, which meant even throwing a rock could pack serious punch, if timed right. As soon as Shadow Meld came off cooldown, he grabbed a rock and hurled it at the brood mother. The stone triggered Shadow Break strike, backstab, and weak point damage, all at once. Result? A whopping 279 damage from a freaking rock. Without delay, Qin Feng vanished again into stealth, setting up for the next strike. There's only one thing left for this brood mother now, /if. Moments later, a global system message rang out. /player Shadow has slain the brood mother and is the first to reach level 2. At the same time, the Baker Town level rankings went live. Back in town, newbie players were already talking. Damn, I've been killed twice already and still don't know what's going on. And someone already soloed a boss. And judging from the ranking, he did it alone. Could someone hook me up with that guy, please? The blonde girl stared at the name on the leaderboard, and her jaw dropped. Wait, that's the guy who turned me down earlier. His leveling speed is insane. We couldn't even handle basic mobs as a team, and he took down a boss solo. No way, the system must be bugged. The couple from earlier pieced it together too. There was only one player near that spider. Don't tell me. He's the one called Shadow on the rankings? Meanwhile, Qin Feng's rewards were in. 46 days of tradable lifespan, a skill book called Greedy Hand, and a bronze-grade corrosive dagger. A bronze-tier boss dropped a god-tier assassin skill like this. /Greedy Hand. Killing a boss has a 20% chance to yield extra loot, massively boosting gear acquisition in late game. Wait a minute. If I pair this with my infinite evolution talent, wouldn't that not only boost the drop chance, but also the quantity of loot itself? At the same time, in the real world, some players had already fallen unconscious, and their bodies began phasing into partial invisibility. But no one realized this was only the beginning. Soon, the entire world would come to understand the true power of the artifact game. By now, Qin Feng had evolved Greedy Hand to Gold Tier. Its new effect, when used on a monster's corpse, it grants a 20% to 70% chance of dropping an extra loot reward. Upgrading it to level 3 would require 3 more free stat points, bringing him one step closer to a guaranteed 100% drop rate. He knew it was only a matter of time before more and more people flooded into the game that he needed to pick up the pace, because soon everyone would realize the truth. Skills and equipment in-game could be extracted into the real world. And when that happened, the world would descend into bloodshed. But there were 2 conditions to extract gear. 1. Reaching level 10.2, having enough tradable lifespan. Farming weak monsters was far too slow. He needed to hunt stronger bosses. Just then, he heard the sounds of a battle up ahead. A level 2 bronze-ranked charger was chasing down 2 panic players. Qin Feng smirked. Perfect timing. Was just looking for a boss to kill. Wait, is that Wang Ming? Qin Feng narrowed his eyes. Didn't expect to run into him here. So the rumors were true. Wang Ming had supposedly entered the artifact game and formed a full hidden class squad from day one. His hidden class was Holy Shield Warrior, a tank with twice the base stats of a regular warrior and a built-in invincibility skill from the start. And his teammates were no slouches either. The Seer, mage class, dealt double the damage of a normal mage and came equipped with Prophetic Fireball as a starting skill. The Hawkeye Archer, range class, had vastly superior stats and a natural multi-arrow burst skill that fired with deadly precision. The Divine Cleric, support class, healed twice as much as a normal priest and started with Mass Restoration as their default ability. And yet, despite their strength, Wang Ming's entire team had been battling the Charger for a while now. This thing's way too fast. Even our ranged skills can't land a hit. Wang Ming wasn't doing great either. Gritting his teeth, he shouted, "Healer, heal me. Everyone else keep hitting. Even if we have to chip away, we'll bring this boss down eventually." Bold words, but he'd clearly forgotten something important. This was an open field. Prolonged battles could easily attract other monsters, like the level 2 Contaminator that had just arrived. And worse, it specialized in ranged attacks. One of his teammates charged forward with a greatsword, managing to slice into the Contaminator's arm with a clean hit. But the sword got stuck, and the strike only did 33 damage. Then came the Contaminator's turn. It opened its mouth and vomited a pile of sludge that looked like literal poop, instantly overwhelming the area with its stench. Several players started gagging on the spot. The female mage shrieked, "Someone help me. Please." Qin Feng saw it all. Without hesitation, he triggered Shadow Meld and vanished. Just as the mage closed her eyes, bracing for death, splash. Qin Feng burst out of stealth, slicing the monster's head clean off with a single strike. Everyone froze. Did someone just help us? He one-shot the Contaminator. Even crawlers take us 10 seconds to kill as a team. That was a level 2 elite. How is that even possible? Wang Ming instantly realized, someone's helping us from the shadows, and no time to worry about that now. We need to focus on killing the Charger first. Meanwhile, Qin Feng had just received another reward for slaying the Contaminator. A skill book, Venom Dagger Throw. /skill, Venom Dagger Throw, Assassin class. Throw a poison-tipped dagger up to 14 meters. Deals plus 12 damage on hit and applies venom, dealing 50% damage per second for 5 seconds. Back on Wang Ming's side, the fight turned worse. He got caught off guard, and the Charger stabbed him clean in the gut. The beast spike lifted him into the air, blood spraying everywhere. Even with the cleric's healing, his HP wasn't coming back fast enough. Gritting his teeth, Wang Ming shouted, "I'm not going to make it. Everyone fall back." But before anyone could move, a green projectile suddenly shot through the air. Direct hit to the Charger's forehead. It was a weak spot strike for 845 damage. Half the boss's HP vanished in an instant. The team stood frozen. What the hell was that? One had just had the boss's health. The Charger let out a shriek of pain and flung Wang Ming aside like a ragdoll. But what no one expected was how ridiculously strong the Venom Dagger Throw's damage over time effect truly was. In just the blink of an eye, thud, the Charger collapsed, its body twitching as the poison claimed its life. Since Qin Feng had dealt over 90% of the total damage, the loot was automatically awarded to him. Level up, level 3 reached. And the best part? The poison damage also scaled with his class passives. Combined with stealth and skill chaining, Qin Feng could now go full Infinite Vanish, Infinite Throw mode that 8T this rate. No monster in the early or mid-game could stand against him. Wang Ming was still stunned. Bro, what the hell kind of damage is that? Is he even human? As he tried to make sense of what just happened, the loot pile in front of him vanished into thin air. Scrambling to his feet, Wang Ming cupped his hands and called out, "Whoever you are, Friend, thank you for saving us. I owe you one. At that moment, Qin Feng spoke calmly to the others. This is the wild zone. Remember, never trust people too easily out here. Still, he didn't dislike Wang Ming. The guy had decent character, and more importantly, backing from the Great Xia government with plenty of resources. Qin Feng needed a stable channel to offload extra loot. Selling and used gear to Wang Ming? Not a bad idea. The boss drop had been generous. His bag was already filling up with equipment and skill books from other classes. Once full, he'd sell them off for tradable lifespan. My progression speed now is over 100 times faster than my last life. His gaze turned cold. Song Fei, I'm coming for you soon. But before long, Wang Ming's team ran into another wave of monsters. This time, a massive plant-type boss led the charge. They struggled a little, but it was purely symbolic. The entire squad was wiped again and forcibly returned to the revival spring. Without reaching level 3, they couldn't leave the game, but the monsters kept coming in hordes, and every time one got low on HP, it would retreat, trapping them in a never-ending loop. Other players weren't doing much better. The blonde girl's team had already died 3 times, and their non-tradable lifespan was down to just 10 years, 0.1 more death, and it would be game over for real. One glance at the rankings, and the players were stunned. Shadow is already level 3. The second-place player is still stuck at level 1. He must have figured out some fast leveling trick. We need to get him to boost us to level 3. We just need out of this damn game. Spread the word. If he helps me hit level 3, I'll pay him 10 million in real-world cash. No way someone ignores that kind of money. Meanwhile, Qin Feng had just slain another contaminator. His evolution points had hit the threshold. He immediately upgraded Greedy Hand from Platinum to Emerald tier. / Greedy Hand. Emerald grants a 110% to 160% chance to drop extra loot, with a 20% chance to upgrade the loot's tier. Absolutely busted. If I keep evolving this, could it hit 100% guaranteed? Or even double tier drops? But just then, a sudden wave of danger surged through his mind. He turned around and spotted a bronze tier curse boomer looming in the shadows. It appeared to be absorbing lifespan from nearby corpses, trying to evolve into silver tier. Judging by the remains, it had probably wiped out a 40-man team. Unfortunately, Qin Feng's inventory was full. Even if he killed it, he couldn't loot anything. So he marked the location on his map and turned away. Time to head back to the safe zone and unload. After returning to the safe zone, Qin Feng immediately opened his stall interface and announced, "Gear and skills for sale. Flash deal, 10 minutes only. First come, first served." Players quickly gathered around, confused and whispering. Who is this guy? When did he get here? Wait, he's wearing 2 bronze tier items? Did he solo a bronze boss? Look at the rankings. That's Shadow. He's been sitting at number 1 this whole time. Strangely, no matter how they looked, no one could make out his face. Just then, a robed female mage approached, her appearance hidden as well. "How much for this ice spire tree?" she asked calmly. Qin Feng gave his price without hesitation. 100 days of tradable lifespan. The woman was none other than Grey Rose, currently ranked number 11 in Bakertown. She hesitated briefly, then asked, "Any chance you can lower the price? If not, can I pay with real-world money?" Qin Feng replied evenly, "No, but you can buy lifespan from someone else using cash, then trade with me. As long as no one offers more, it's yours." Grey Rose nodded. "Give me a moment." She switched to party chat and consulted her teammates. Everyone agreed. "No problem. Just get us to level 3 so we can get out of this place first." The first transaction was completed smoothly. Just as Grey Rose turned to leave, a familiar blonde-haired woman rushed over. "There you are. I've been looking all over for you. Shadow, I'm giving you a chance. Help me reach level 3, and I'll pay you 10 million in cash once we're back in the real world." "Deal." Qin Feng finally recognized her. Jiang Li, a notorious figure from his previous life. She had once led a major crime syndicate, which was eventually wiped out by the government. Rumor had it, she lured players into selling their tradable lifespan, then enslaved them as workers. Anyone who resisted was eliminated in the real world. Without hesitation, Qin Feng shot her down coldly. Not buying anything? Then get lost. Jiangli instantly exploded in rage. Pa, who the hell do you think you are? I was being generous. If this were the real world, I'd rip your mouth to pieces. Qin Feng stared at her, voice low and deadly. One more word, and I'll erase every second of your lifespan. The threat hit her like a thunderclap, her face drained of color. She turned and ran off, shouting behind her, "You'll regret this, Shadow." But Qin Feng didn't even glance her way. Right now, no one truly understood the value of tradable lifespan, nor did they realize this divine game would soon shatter the very foundations of reality. All those who clung to wealth, power, or status would be left in the dust. Only strength would matter. Only the strong would survive. Meanwhile, Jiang Li and her group arrived at a nearby general store. She was still fuming. That shadow guy not only turned me down, he threatened me. Just wait till we're back in the real world. I'll hunt him down and make him pay. Right then, a player stepped forward. Name's Mori Jun. I'm already level 2 and figured out a trick or two to leveling up. That 10 million offer still on the table? Jiang Li's eyes lit up. Of course it is. Let's hear it. Mori explained, the key is to put all your starting points into agility. That way, we're faster than crawlers and less likely to get wrecked. Makes sense. Jiang Li finally understood. Huh, so that's how it works. She gave him a half smile. You've got some brains, I'll give you that. But compared to Shadow, you're still a bit lacking. I'll give you 5 million tops. Deal's good as soon as we're back. Meanwhile, Qin Feng had arrived at the marked location of the cursed spitter. Just as he expected, the creature had already evolved into a silver-tier boss, and from the looks of it, wasn't done evolving yet. Upgrading from silver to gold? That would take at least 7 or 8 hours. I don't have time for that. Without hesitation, Qin Feng launched a poison dagger followed by a devastating shadow break strike. As soon as the combo landed, he vanished again using Shadow Melt. Sure, silver bosses have 2 to 3 times the health of bronze, but honestly, 2 or 3 hits are all I need. But this cursed spitter was a mage-type boss. It's attacked for all AoE spells with massive damage. If even one of them landed, Qin Feng would be dead in a flash. So after every strike, he had to wait for Shadow Meld's cooldown and only go in when the boss was in a casting gap. Each hit had to be clean, followed by an instant vanish to stay out of its range. This was a battle of patience and precision. Now the cursed spitter's HP had bottomed out, and it was trying to escape. You really think you can outrun my venom? Qin Feng smirked. Why not just give up and die cleanly? With one last strike, the boss dropped dead. Qin Feng's level shot up, jumping straight to level 5, and he gained 4 evolution points in one go. So he immediately activated the Greedy Hand skill, gaining 8 evolution points and 248 days of tradable lifespan. That rush of getting double bonus rewards was insane. Just one silver tier boss had brought him 12 evolution points and 372 tradable days. One of the dropped items even got upgraded from silver to gold tier. Exactly the power of his emerald level Greedy Hand, with a 20% chance to upgrade bonus loot. He picked up 7 or 8 pieces of gear. If only his storage ring dropped too, that would have been perfect, he thought. But when he saw what actually dropped, his smile froze. He was completely dumbfounded. Meanwhile, Wang Ming's team had finally made it back to the real world. One of the girls shouted with joy, "We made it out alive." She gave full credit to their leader, Wang Ming. But Wang Ming knew the truth. Without that mysterious player's help, they never would have survived. Just then, the town leaderboard updated again, and it stunned everyone. What? That guy Shadow just hit level 5. He was level 3 just a minute ago. He must have killed some crazy boss. I saw him selling gear just 10 minutes ago. Wang Ming raised a hand, calming everyone down. Let's focus. First, we need to return to the real world and warn our friends and family about what's coming. The world is about to change. At the very least, we need the people we care about to be ready. Wang Ming had just regained consciousness in the real world. Without wasting a second, he reported to his superior. His code name is Shadow. When he saved us, he was only level 3. But by the time we reached level 3, he had already jumped to level 5, and That was within just 10 minutes. One of the staff members muttered in shock. Wait, doesn't that make him the top-ranked player globally? But the superior remained deadly serious. The intel Wang Meng provided perfectly matched the classified reports from higher-ups. According to the latest investigations, several elderly individuals mysteriously died in their sleep. Each of them had experienced multiple deaths inside the game. This confirmed a chilling truth. When your lifespan hits 0 in the Divine Gear game, you actually die in real life. This is beyond our current scientific understanding. We may be witnessing an unprecedented form of supernatural invasion. A top-level emergency order has already been issued. Each region must form specialized vanguard teams to explore the game and report back intel. We need a trained army, and we need it fast. This is a global crisis. Every country is racing to unlock the secrets of Divine Gear. If we fall behind, we'll lose our strategic edge on the international stage. From this moment on, cost is no longer a concern. Intelligence is everything. And you, I hereby appoint you as captain of Team 1. Wang Meng will serve as vice captain. You two will handpick the rest of your squad. Based on Wang Meng's description, it seemed clear this Shadow didn't have any hostile intentions. I want both of you to uncover Shadow's real-world identity as soon as possible. Ideally, the government should establish official contact and secure as much intel from him as possible. Meanwhile, Qin Xiaoyu was still fantasizing about Qin Feng coming back to apologize. After all, every time she threw a tantrum before, he'd always find a way to cheer her up. But this time, he didn't even try, and even dared to hit her. All I did was skip class to attend Song Fei's concert. Damn you, Qin Feng. I'll never forgive you. Thankfully, I went to that concert yesterday. With this Divine Gear chaos, who knows if concerts will even be possible anymore? Song Fei Gitch. What will I do if I never get to see you again? Wait, if falling asleep brings people into the game, then that means he'll be there too. Which means I might get to see Song Fei in the game. Song Fei Gitch, I miss you like crazy. I need to sleep right now and enter the game. Oh, but I'll need someone to carry me at the start. Without hesitation, she video called her classmate Zhang Wei, who was already level 3. After a round of shameless begging and sweet talk, Zhang Wei finally caved in and agreed to help her. Yes, these simps really do come in handy sometimes. Without lifting a finger, I've got myself an in-game bodyguard. Once I'm in, I'll finally get to see my Song Fei Gitch again /. Meanwhile, he made a shocking discovery. A gold-tier item had dropped, the Cursed Ring. Even better, it was usable by all classes, plus 8 to all attributes, plus 26 elemental resistance, and plus 0.1 bonus to weak point damage. That's effectively plus 32 stat points. The dark resistance alone would be a lifesaver against magical beasts. But what truly caught his eye was a silver-tier assassin skill, Phantom Slash. The user dashes in a direction, entering stealth while slashing 3 times along the path. Each slash deals plus 100 damage and is guaranteed to hit. The downside? It doesn't trigger weak point damage. A powerful AoE skill with both mobility and stealth? No hesitation, he learned it instantly. Then, he evolved Greedy Hand to Diamond Tier. With 4 evolution points left, he decided to upgrade Phantom Slash to level 3. Unfortunately, leveling it didn't reduce the cooldown. But even so, the skill now gave him near-permanent invisibility in combat. Most of the other drops were trash, though a silver-tier warrior skill book might still fetch a good price. Just then, he heard a rustling noise behind him. Turning around, he spotted several level, 4-limb crawler beasts approaching. Perfect timing, he smirked. Let's see what Phantom Slash can really do. Instant kill. Just like that. His farming speed had jumped to a whole new level. Using Venom Dagger takes at least 2 throws to kill a monster. The shorter the fight, the less chance there is for anything to go wrong. He currently had 618 days of tradable lifespan, but unlocking the ability to extract items and skills into the real world required 900 days. That likely meant reaching level 10. For now, selling his current gear was the top priority. Just then, he spotted someone, Jiang Li. Hey, princess, time to cough up that 5 million, right? Zhang Wei called out. Jiang Wei nodded coolly. You'll get it first thing once I'm back in the real world. Also, sell me your tradable lifespan, 10,000 yuan per day. Mao Lijun chimed in right away. No problem. See you on the outside. He grinned smugly. Even if the game does affect your lifespan, so what? I can grind more anytime. The smart ones are those who turn game power into real-world money. But Shadow had no interest in their shady deals. His only goal now was power. He became the first player in the server to activate the town's teleportation altar. The reward? 1 prestige point plus 1 free teleport per day. Extra teleports would cost tradable lifespan. So far, no other altars have been activated. Teleportation only worked if both ends were online. Lighting up a single altar wasn't enough. Another town needed someone at level 5 to unlock this before it worked both ways. He remembered Song Fei's previous life had started in Firefly Town, so he set an alert. If anyone activated Firefly's portal, he'd know instantly. Still, moving between starter towns didn't matter much. His real goal was to hit level 10 and head for the divine Forsaken Continent. That's where the true game would begin. Back at the safe zone, he set up his stall again. I'm taking that battle roar skill book. Gimme that rope. Those boots are mine. In less than a minute, everything was sold out. This haul earned him another 650 days of tradable lifespan. That brought his total to 2,174 days. Still far from enough. If he wanted to extract class, stats, equipment, and skills from the game into reality, he had a long way to go. Just then, a woman approached him. Boss, I've got something special. You interested? It was a space ring with 12 slots. Even better, it didn't take up a ring slot or bag space. In his past life, this kind of ring easily went for over 3,600 days of lifespan. He asked right away, so, how much are you asking for it, miss? But the girl shook her head. I don't want any lifespan, boss. Just add me as a friend and help me take down a boss. He agreed without hesitation. But when he glanced at her username, Goblin Giant Lizzie, he raised an eyebrow. That name had zero resemblance to a miss. The girl pointed into the distance. There's a gold tier boss over there. It's too far to see clearly, but I did spot a wrecked, rotten ship. A broken ship? His eyes lit up. Could it be the Golden Ghost ship? This boss had an extremely low spawn rate, but its drops were ridiculously valuable. Every time the Golden Ghost ship appeared, major guilds would clash in brutal battles to seize it. Judging by its appearance in a starter town, this one was probably only level 5, the easiest tier among Golden Ghost ships. A Golden Ghost ship showing up this early, in a beginner zone no less, and it dropped a rare storage ring. And she's part of Wang Ming's team? Could she be the rumored Koi girl from his past life? Legend had it that someone in Wang Ming's team had insane luck, always running into rare bosses, treasure chests, secret dungeons, even ancient shrines while wandering the wild. Qin Feng used to think that rumor was just a smokescreen spread by the devs to cover up insider info. But now it seemed to be true. He quietly followed the girl out of town, unaware that someone had started tailing him. Boss, that kid just left town with a chick. The leader smirked. This typical rookie. Just got a few levels and already can't wait to chase skirts. What they didn't know was Qin Feng had already noticed their presence. With a flick of his shadow skill, he vanished on the spot, leaving the confused girl standing alone. The thug leader, realizing Qin Feng was gone, grinned evilly. Then we'll just take the girl for some fun. Little did they know, Qin Feng was already right in front of them, cloaked in stealth, eyes cold as ice. You're the ones asking for death, so don't blame me. With a single cast of Shadow Slash, 5 enemies dropped dead in an instant. Unfortunately, he only gained 12 tradable life days. Oh well, he treated it like clearing out a couple of trash mobs. The girl looked at him, puzzled. Big bro, where did you go just now? Qin Feng replied casually. A few guys were tailing us. I sent them back to the Resurrection Spring. All right then, lead the way to the boss you mentioned. They arrived at the edge of a cliff. After confirming that the Golden Ghost ship was below, Qin Feng jumped down without hesitation. The system showed the boss would vanish in 45 minutes. He had to act fast. Without wasting a second, Qin Feng launched Shadow Slash straight at the skeleton guard. Then he threw a poison dart, hitting the ghostly bell on the ship, its true weak spot. Once the weakness was hit, the boss took control of the surrounding waters and unleashed high-damage AoE skills. With his current armor, one direct hit from the water jets would mean instant death, but thanks to his high agility, he dodged them all. The skeleton boss summoned 12 rotting water ghouls, each with the power of a silver-tier boss. Most teams would be overwhelmed and wiped out instantly by the barrage of attacks. But Qin Feng remained in stealth. The ghouls couldn't see him. All he needed was the right angle, and he'd wipe them all out in one move. The girl watching was completely stunned. Is this the #1 player on the leaderboard? He's absolutely demolishing a golden tier boss like it's nothing. At that moment, Qin Feng turned to her and said, "Little Black, I'm definitely going to die in a bit. Just stay put and wait for me to revive. Don't do anything." The girl was completely confused. "Huh? Big bro, you're clearly winning right now. And what's with Little Black? I'm Black Goblin Big Plum, not Little Black." That sounds like a dog's name. The reason Qin Feng said he'd die was because once the golden ghost ship drops to half HP, it unleashes a massive soul wave across the battlefield. Every creature caught in it gets frozen for 5 seconds. And with his current build, there's no way to dodge. He'd be instantly killed by the water jets and lose half his tradable lifespan in the process. Meanwhile, the players who had just respawned witnessed his death and burst out laughing. That damn Shadow, just because people call him a boss, he actually thought he could solo a golden tier boss, finally got what he deserved. The boss only has half HP left now. If we charge in together and finish it off, all that loot and lifespan will be ours. Hearing this, some of the nearby onlookers got tempted and stepped into the swamp, only to have their vision turn white, as they were instantly teleported back to Shell Town's respawn point. Damn, that was brutal. We just stepped into the swamp and got instantly wiped. How the hell did Shadow manage to get that monster down to half HP? We lost way too much, but the leaders still refused to give up. Keep moving. That golden tier boss is ours. Meanwhile, Qin Feng had already respawned. Watching the lifespan drop by those fools in the swamp, he sneered, "Bunch of overconfident idiots." He remembered taking a beating here in his previous life too. But thankfully, the Golden Ghost ship only used its immobilize skill once. After dropping below 50% HP, it would just keep dodging attacks and stop using any control abilities, making it extremely hard for normal players to land a hit. But Qin Feng had long figured out its movement pattern. With perfect predictions and repeated casts of Shadow Slash, he kept slashing its HP down with precision. Just then, those idiots came charging back again. Not wanting them to mess things up, Black Goblin Big Plum immediately began chanting a lightning spell. In the blink of an eye, a lightning strike came crashing down from the sky, frying the leader into a charred skeleton on the spot. That move instantly enraged the rest. That damn chick again. Brothers, take her out first. With a roar, the group raised their weapons and rushed toward her. Meanwhile, Qin Feng was throwing everything he had at the boss. But his damage output was still too low, dragging the fight out, and, unfortunately, attracting another greedy group of players. Those players hid near the edge of the swamp, planning to swoop in after Qin Feng killed the boss, take him out, and steal all the loot. It was a clever plan, but they badly miscalculated. The moment Qin Feng landed the final blow, he didn't rush to grab the rewards. Instead, he slipped into stealth and quietly watched from the shadows. Thinking the coast was clear, one of them, a hunter, stepped forward. He drew his bow and fired a spectral horned hawk into the air. The hawk soared for 3.5 seconds before diving straight toward Qin Feng's last known location. It was a hunter-exclusive anti-stealth ability. Any regular assassin would have been forced out of hiding on impact. But Qin Feng wasn't just any assassin. He was the Shadow King. His stealth level was way above the hawk's detection threshold. The hawk missed, and the hunter foolishly assumed Qin Feng had run away. Just as they began to approach the loot, smug and careless, Qin Feng struck. In a blur, he appeared behind them and unleashed his Shadow Slash. Blades flashed, blood flew. Before they even realized what happened, their bodies were already hitting the ground. With the battlefield cleared, Qin Feng could finally loot in peace. The boss had dropped 4,800 EXP, enough to boost him straight to level 8 and grant him 7 evolution points. Without hesitation, he upgraded Greedy Hand from Diamond to Epic Tier. The bonus loot rate jumped from 200% to 300%, and every extra item now had a guaranteed 1-tier upgrade. Eyes gleaming, he immediately gathered all the glowing loot orbs into one pile. With Greedy Hand's triple drop effect activated, he hit the jackpot: 21 evolution points, 648 days of tradable lifespan, and 2 rare items called Ghostfire Bells. Even better, the bells wouldn't drop upon death and had just a 6-minute cooldown. Their active skill, Terror Ring, could freeze every enemy within 100 meters for 3 seconds, with only a 10-minute cooldown. Finally, Qin Feng had crowd control of his own. Just then, Qin Feng heard a desperate scream in his earpiece. "Boss, where are you? Help me." He turned toward the voice and spotted a Lizzie surrounded by several players. She was struggling and shouting, "Get away from me. Don't come any closer." But the group just sneered, their voices dripping with malice. "Relax, sweetheart. We'll go easy on you." But the Lizzie wasn't the type to surrender. Without hesitation, she spun around and threw herself off the cliff. Luckily, the dense canopy of trees slowed her fall somewhat. Even so, the impact was fatal. One of the thugs spat beside her corpse. "TCH, what a fiery little thing. She'd rather die than let us have some fun." Moments later, her voice returned over comms. "Boss, I've respawned back in town. Good news, my tradable lifespan was stored with Captain Wang Meng, so I didn't lose anything." Qin Feng quickly tallied up the rewards: 3,115 days of tradable lifespan and 21 evolution points. Without hesitation, he poured them into boosting Greedy Hand. As expected, upgrading a high-level skill wasn't cheap. To fully evolve Greedy Hand, it looked like he'd need at least 210 evolution points. Forget it. For now, better to focus on increasing damage output. Stronger DPS meant quicker boss kills and way better loot. After 2 evolutions, Shadow Slash's damage had more than doubled. Even without breaking stealth, a single use could deal over 3,000 damage. But with Stealth Break multipliers, all 7 strikes combined could hit for 6 or even 7,000. Normally, a gold tier boss would drop 2 to 4 pieces of silver gear, with a slim chance for gold. But thanks to his upgraded Greedy Hand, he walked away with 11 gold items and skill books, plus 2 platinum gray gear and a platinum skill book. Even better, 3 of them were perfect for his assassin build. One of them was the Backslash Ghost Ship Twin Blades, a platinum dagger with 136 attack, plus 22 agility, and a ridiculous plus 24 attack speed stat. Reduced skill lag, bonus armor penetration, and every basic attack hit an extra 2 times. These stats weren't just strong, they were straight up broken. He also picked up a gold tier armor, Ghost Flame leather armor. With 0 points invested in Constitution, Qin Feng's HP was only 350. But this armor alone added 419 HP. With it on, most players at this stage wouldn't even be able to scratch him. He immediately hid the armor's appearance, keeping his outfit as the default assassin starter set. That way, nobody could tell how stacked he was just by looking. They'd have to open his profile to see the truth. The last drop was a gold tier passive skill book, Phantom Blur. It granted a 15% dodge chance, and every successful dodge made him immune to all damage for that instance. Finally, a proper survival skill for assassins. Though, in his past life, this ability wasn't considered that strong. After all, dodge rate in Divine Relics was notoriously hard to stack. And if you did try, you'd sacrifice so much in other stats that one unlucky hit could kill you instantly. But Qin Feng wasn't like other players. With his infinite skill evolution system, he could boost dodge rate without giving up anything else. Pure upside. Time to head back. The rest of the loot could be sold, discounted of course, to Wang Meng's squad. They couldn't afford it now, but knowing Wang Meng's character, he'd pay eventually. Honestly, Qin Feng owed this huge power spike to the Lizzie. If it weren't for that walking good luck charm, he wouldn't have found the level 5 ghost ship. He definitely needed to thank her properly. Just then, Qin Feng ran into the same scumbags who had driven to Lizzie to jump off the cliff. The moment they saw him, one thought exploded in their heads. Run. They wanted to log out of the game if they could. No way. It's the plague god of shadows. Bro, don't come any closer. But he wasn't about to let them escape. Without a word, he unleashed Shadow Slash, instantly taking out several lackeys, then blinked in front of their leader, cutting off his only route. The leader's legs gave out. He dropped to his knees, trembling. Daddy, Grandpa, Boss, please spare me. I only have less than 1 year of tradable life left. Qin Feng didn't even blink. A poison dart flew from his hand. The guy collapsed to the ground, screaming and writhing in agony. /system notification. Due to repeated player kills, you have acquired Slaughter LV.1. If you die in this state, you will lose 75% of your current tradable lifespan. Qin Feng smirked. He couldn't care less. With the Ghost Fire Bell in his inventory, even if he got killed, he'd lose nothing. Qin Feng had just returned to Shell Town. The whole plaza erupted. Holy crap, it's Shadow. He really came back after soloing the Golden Boss. But someone quickly sneered. Where's his gear? Bet he exploited some glitch to kill it. Probably didn't even get any drops. Another player chuckled. Yeah? Then go glitch it yourself. Genius. Just then a voice called out, Big Bro Shadow, please wait. It was our fault before. We scraped together some tradable life and just bought this assassin skill book. Please take it as a peace offering. Let's just pretend nothing ever happened. All right? Qin Feng glanced at it. It was a control skill. Deals 20 damage and stuns the target for 2 seconds. Cool down, 22 seconds. He simply nodded and walked away. But as soon as he turned the corner, the group huddled up and grumbled, Young Master Cien, we got killed and still had to give him a skill book? That's pathetic. Exactly. When have we ever been humiliated like this? Let's pull some strings and gather everyone. With enough people, we'll drown him in spit if we have to. But Young Master Cien waved them off. You don't get it. That guy's leveling speed is insane, and he's doing it solo. He must be hiding some huge secret. If we track him down in the real world and lock him up, we'll find out what it is and turn him into our personal farming slave. The underlings finally caught on. Now it makes sense. That's why you're the boss, Xian Xiao. We'll have the family send a girl over. Get close to him. Earn his trust. Judging by his voice, he's not from our circle. Probably some broke nobody. No way he can resist a hot girl. Meanwhile, Qin Feng had already found a Lizzie and told her he was ready to trade some items. Wait, seriously? Big bro, you're the best. The moment she tried them on, she practically exploded with excitement. Holy crap, this gear is insane. I feel like I just powered up 5 times. My skill damage is through the roof, and my mana regen doubled. No, more than doubled. Qin Feng said calmly, no need to thank me. You earned it. Now hand over that storage ring. All right. The Lizzie suddenly remembered. When I was running through the woods earlier, I think I spotted a cave. Looked like some kind of ruin entrance. Want to check it out? Qin Feng was shocked on the spot. This girl really was a walking good luck charm. First the golden ghost ship. Now, a hidden ruin? Turns out sincerity works both ways. If he hadn't given her those 2 pieces of gold gear, she probably wouldn't have shared the secret. He agreed without hesitation, but said he wanted to sell his loot to Wang Meng first. However, Lizzie shook her head. The captain went out to recruit a new healer. They probably won't be back for a while. She continued, I already marked the ruins entrance on the map. It's under a stone slab behind some bushes. I found it while escaping and hid inside, but I only got a few steps in before I heard something howling in the dark. I freaked out and ran. That's when those players caught up to me. Qin Feng gave a simple nod. All right, I'll head to the ruin now. Once I'm done, I'll deal with Wang Meng. With that, he vanished into thin air using his shadow cloak skill. Originally, he planned to grind to level 10 first, but now that a ruin had shown up, there was no point in wasting time on anything else. In the starter town, 3 types of ruins could spawn: crypts, cursed ruins, and temples of faith. No matter which one it was, even the weakest mobs inside would be bronze or silver tier. But to Qin Feng, that just meant a massive haul of lifespan and evolution points. Qin Feng followed Lizzie's directions and soon arrived at the entrance to the ruin. He knew there were generally 3 types of ruins: crypts, cursed ruins, and temples of faith. Crypts were basically monster dens, difficult to clear and often guarded by gold-tier boss. Cursed ruins were more sinister. Most of the enemies there were either deranged humans or spirits that turned into monsters after death. As for temples of faith, they were lairs for ancient cultists and dark gods. Their layouts were notoriously complex, but clearing them could reward rare artifacts or even skill books. When Qin Feng examined the carvings on the wall, he suddenly froze. These symbols, they were familiar. This wasn't just any temple. It was a temple of judgment, devoted to an ancient god tied to the Eye of Judgment he carried. Meanwhile, Wang Meng was leading a team in a fierce battle against a monster. But after a long fight, they realized they were completely outmatched. One of the teammates was even knocked flying by a single hit. "Healer, heal! What are you standing there for?" The so-called healer was none other than Qin Xiaoyu, who had just started the game. "I don't know what to do, big bro." The monster launched another attack, forcing the others to raise their weapons and prepare to fight back. Qin Xiaoyu, however, collapsed to the ground in fear, covering her face as her staff clattered to the floor. Just then, Delizzy came running back cheerfully. "Captain, you're back already? Shadow still isn't here, so the gear can't be traded just yet." One teammate exploded in frustration. "I've never seen anyone this useless. Doesn't dodge, can't cast heals. What the hell are you even doing here?" But Delizzy immediately stepped in front of her. "Why are you yelling at her? She's obviously a newbie. Dying once is totally normal." Another teammate pointed at Delizzy and grumbled, "We've died more than once, okay? That's 3 times in just an hour." But Delizzy just grinned. "Don't worry, I'll go with you next time. I just got 2 awesome items from the boss. Trust me, with me on the team, nobody's dying again." All right, enough chatter. Having Delizzy with us already makes a huge difference. Who knows, maybe Shadow will be back soon too. Meanwhile, Qin Xiaoyu was cursing them in her head. "You losers suck and still blame me? If it weren't for your connection to that Shadow big shot, I wouldn't even bother babysitting you." Out loud though, she played the innocent act. "I'm sorry, I'll do better next time." Bunch of idiots. At that moment, Qin Feng had already entered the depths of the Temple of Faith. Eerie whispers echoed through the air, and twisted worshippers of the old gods knelt in prayer on the floor. With a cold snort, he dashed forward and unleashed Shadow Slash without hesitation. But to his surprise, even with his boosted critical strike, he barely took down half their HP. These 2 cultists weren't just silver tier level 10 bosses. Their health pool was thicker than the Golden Ghost ship. But then, Qin Feng was stunned. Even after losing track of him, the corrupted followers dropped to their knees and began worshipping, facing directly toward where he was standing, completely cloaked. He was clearly in stealth mode. Could they be sensing the divine aura of the Eye of Judgment? Was that why they didn't attack? He waved a hand experimentally, signaling them to lead the way. To his surprise, the followers let out low, obedient moans, like they actually understood him. It was obvious now. Their minds had long since collapsed from corruption. What remained were nothing but beasts, driven solely by the instinct to steal human lifespans. But in the very next moment, a sinister purple glow burst forth in their eyes. Suddenly, they charged straight toward the ruins entrance. Human players had just stepped into the area. Qin Feng stayed hidden in the shadows, watching silently. With their level, showing up here was basically a death sentence, and he had no intention of letting amateurs mess up his plans. One of the mages quickly spotted the threat and shouted in panic, "2 silver tier bosses? We can't even handle one. Don't just stand there, run." But escaping wasn't even an option. The female player turned out to be a member of the Grey Rose squad, the same team that had offered a high price for ice spike trees. Apparently, they had also discovered this ruin. However, given the current gear standards among players, no one should have been able to venture deep into the ruin yet. When she died, she dropped over 100 days of tradable lifespan. Qin Feng couldn't help but think. So she was a quiet little rich girl, huh? Oddly enough, there were no traps or treasure chests inside. Could it be the only real rewards were those 2 silver tier mini-bosses? It seemed obvious the good loot had to be on them. Qin Feng didn't hesitate. He struck quickly and took them down in a flash. The system flashed for 1,000 EXP gained. He had reached level 9, gained 4 evolution points, and collected 188 days of tradable lifespan. Without a second thought, he used the points to upgrade / Greedy Hand. And the results were insane. His epic tier / Greedy Hand granted him 32 evolution points, 1,504 tradable days for gold tier items and over 10 silver tier ones. The best part? A gold tier assassin item / Devout Pendant, plus 15 agility, plus 20% cooldown speed, equipable at level 8, and it could even summon a silver tier devout follower. After equipping the pendant, Qin Feng immediately felt the difference. His shadow step cooldown dropped from 22.6 to 19.2 seconds. Poison Dart went from 4.3 to 3.7 seconds, and shadow / decreased from 10.4 to 8.8 seconds. His farming efficiency was about to skyrocket. The rest of the gear required level 8 or higher. No one else could use them yet, so he stored them away for future resale. Just as he was about to leave, a sudden click-clack echoed behind him, mechanical parts shifting into motion. As expected, just like he guessed, the mechanism only activated after all the monsters were cleared. Qin Feng quickly located the hidden switch embedded in the wall. More mechanical grinding followed. The circular platform beneath his feet began to rotate slowly. Then the ground beneath him started to descend, synchronized with the spinning motion. It turned out to be a kind of elevator mechanism, lowering him steadily for what must have been 300 to 400 meters before coming to a halt. What lay ahead left Qin Feng speechless. Who would have thought such a mysterious maze was hidden beneath an otherwise ordinary-looking temple? In his past life, he'd explored countless dungeons like this, filled with deadly traps and shifting mechanisms. But with enough cannon fodder, even the worst of them became easy to clear. At his current stats, triggering any trap meant certain death. Thankfully, the devout pendant he'd just looted allowed him to summon a silver tier follower, perfect for scouting ahead and taking the hits in his place. Having a summoned minion to scout ahead made everything easier, but Qin Feng knew full well the danger wasn't over yet. To play it safe, he evolved his passive dodge skill first. With a 75% dodge rate now, he was confident it would cover most incoming traps. As for the remaining points, he poured them into upgrading Shadow / to Epic tier. However, reaching Legendary tier would require 10 times more evolution points. That's when he realized skills with a higher base tier were much more cost-effective to evolve. For instance, if a skill was already epic by default, upgrading it to legendary only counted as the first evolution, requiring just 1 point. But if a skill had to reach legendary from the bottom, it would take 10 times the base cost. So if he could obtain epic tier skills outright, he could easily push them to legendary, mythic, ancient, or even immortal tiers. Of course, starting from common tier meant multiple upgrades just to get to epic, and that cost would balloon later. Still, the advantage was clear. Any skill he owned could at least be evolved to epic tier for relatively low cost. In other words, all of Qin Feng's future abilities would start no lower than epic tier. With 11 evolution points left, he used them on his starter skill, Shadow Step. But the cooldown was still too long, and the follow-up skill, Shadow Break, lacked power. He'd have to replace it soon. Just then, his summoned follower stepped onto a hidden trigger. With a deafening boom, a massive round boulder dropped from above, instantly flattening the follower into a bloody pancake. But Qin Feng wasn't worried. He just had to wait a few minutes to summon another follower. This maze was filled with traps and twists. Using summoned cannon fodder was the only safe way to move forward. Meanwhile, back on the upper level of the temple, the female mage from earlier returned with her team. Both of those corrupted followers disappeared, she said. And the dropped lifespan? It's gone too. That means someone killed the monsters and took the loot. And at this stage, the only one who could solo those bosses is the Shadow Overlord. So he must have grabbed the lifespan. Honestly, that saves us from dying again. Then she remembered she had caught a glimpse of a shadowy figure earlier, and it looked like that person had actually communicated with the bosses. That had to be him. The Shadow Overlord. Could he have a skill that controls monsters? His power is terrifying beyond reason. Meanwhile, Qin Feng continued carving his way through the maze, slaying every minor monster that blocked his path. Before long, he reached the deepest part of a labyrinth. In his past life, it had taken dozens, sometimes even hundreds, of deaths just to get here. But now, with endless devout followers to take the hits, his journey had been surprisingly smooth. Soon, he arrived at the boss room. But no matter how hard he tried, the massive stone gate wouldn't budge. It seemed only he could unlock it. Personally, without hesitation, Qin Feng placed his right hand on the gate. As he poured his energy into it, a thunderous rumble echoed through the chamber. The gate began to open. As the massive gate creaked open, a thick cloud of dust billowed out. Clearly, it hadn't been opened in years. But what awaited beyond made Qin Feng break into a cold sweat. The treasure chest ahead was wrapped in thick, thorny vines and sealed tight with heavy locks. Even more puzzling, there was an NPC standing silently beside the chest. She had a single eye growing from her forehead, an unnerving sight, but her features were surprisingly beautiful. Yet when Qin Feng checked her stats, all he saw were question marks. He had never encountered an NPC this mysterious before. Suddenly, the woman spoke, uttering a string of strange, indecipherable characters. Then she fell silent once more. Moments later, her body began to fade away, and with her disappearance, the vines covering the chest vanished as well. He couldn't see her information, but something deep in his gut told him. This mysterious woman was definitely connected to the Eye of Judgment he carried. Judging by the brilliant golden glow radiating from the chest, Qin Feng figured there was a high chance it contained an epic tier item. Still, he wasn't about to get careless. It could be a mimic or trigger a trap. So, he quickly had his summoned follower open the chest instead. A blinding flash of golden light burst from within. To his shock, it revealed a skill book, one with both an active and a passive effect. And it was tailor-made for assassins. / Epic Assassin Skill Book, Fatal Release, plus 100% weak point accuracy bonus, and weak point damage is doubled. Active Skill / Throat Slash. Your next attack causes a bleeding effect, dealing 100% of that attack's damage every second for 3 seconds. Cooldown, 44 seconds. The passive effect was even more broken. It doubled the size of a monster's weak point hitbox. And to activate Throat Slash, all he had to do was land a 300 damage hit. That meant an extra 300 damage per second for 3 seconds. 900 bonus damage on top of the initial strike, totaling 1,200 damage in one go. Even multi-hit skills like Shadow Slash would still count as a single Throat Slash trigger. And since it was already epic tier, it would only take 10 evolution points to upgrade it to legendary. The burst damage would spike even further. This was a god-tier skill, made for killing. Still, all of this loot, he had Big Lee's team to thank. Everything he didn't need, he planned to sell to them. So he sent Big Lee a message, "Meet me at the town square." But when he returned to town, Qin Feng was absolutely stunned by the scene before him. "Shadow Overlord, you're back. Big Bro Shadow. Can we add you as a friend? Are you recruiting little bros? Our Rounding Corp formally invites you to join us. Overlord, we're sisters, and we'll keep your bed warm. Bathe with us. We won't mind / boss. I came across the map just to offer you my wife. She's all yours." From this, Qin Feng guessed that teleport gates in other towns had finally opened. That meant it was time to head to Firefly Town and look for Song Fei. Without a word, he went invisible and vanished on the spot. Chaos erupted behind him. "It's your fault. Your bestie's that ugly, and you still try to match her with the Overlord. I'll beat you to death." By then, Qin Feng had already reached Big Lee's location. Spotting him, Big Lee quickly waved toward someone in the distance, signaling Wang Ming to come over. But just then, a lone figure in the crowd caught Qin Feng's eye. Something about that person felt off. Qin Feng narrowed his eyes. Somehow, Qin Xiaoyu had managed to sneak into Wang Ming's team. If she kept tagging along, she was bound to drag them down, maybe even get them killed. With the whole world now aware of the Shadow Overlord's existence, he had to be extra cautious. His real-world identity couldn't be exposed, not yet. His powers couldn't cross over into reality, and with so many eyes watching him, even a kitchen knife could spell death. Just then, Qin Xiaoyu blushed and whispered to herself, "The Shadow Overlord. He just looks so strong. Compared to him, Wang Ming and the others are total garbage. If he helps me level up, I'll reach Song Fei in just a few days." Ignoring her, Qin Feng handed gear over to Wang Ming. "These fit your squad's roles. The skill books should boost your combat power. Also, here's 2,200 days of tradable lifespan. As for payment, settle it later." "Thank you so much, Brother Shadow." Wang Ming was overwhelmed. "If you ever need anything from me, I'll give it everything I've got. No questions asked." Shadow Overlord is insane. I'm using gold tier gear already. These skills are nuts. My damage just tripled in one go. Qin Xiaoyu, however, looked confused. "Wait, why is there nothing for a priest?" "So what?" One teammate snapped. "You're lucky just to be tagging along for the XP." Her face turned pale, and she turned to Qin Feng with pleading eyes. "Do not forget I'm the team's healer. Is there really nothing for me?" She added him as a friend while speaking, hoping for a response. Qin Feng just shot her a cold glance, expressionless. Then, without a word, he vanished into thin air, his stealth activated once more. Watching him disappear, Qin Xiaoyu's face twisted with disappointment. He really just left me behind. What she didn't know was that Qin Feng still had plenty of priest gear tucked away in his inventory, including a gold-tier priest staff and even a legendary priest skill book. But there was no way he'd waste them on someone like Qin Xiaoyu. As he leveled up, he'd collect more and more excess gear and skill books. Setting up a stall to sell them would be a waste of time. Wang Ming's team, part of the official faction, was the perfect outlet for those items. He wouldn't let Qin Xiaoyu ruin that cooperation. It was time to find a real priest for Wang Ming and get her kicked out. Speaking of which, he almost forgot about Gu Yixue. In his previous life, she had been one of the higher-ups in the Godslayer Wood Guild. She'd unlocked the hidden priest class / Whitebird Acolyte, a rare support role that summoned a healing Whitebird and applied powerful buffs. She was the only known priest who had ever soloed an epic tier boss. Compared to her, Qin Xiaoyu was absolutely worthless. Since both Gu Yixue and Song Fei were in Firefly Town, Qin Feng figured, if he ran into her, he'd just toss her into Wang Ming's squad. Problem solved. The moment he arrived in town, he overheard a heated discussion. "Hurry back. That silver tier boss is almost at half health. We can't let that bastard Song Fei swoop in and steal the kill, or we'll have died for nothing. He's got a whole harem of girls with him. Makes it hard to contest the kill. Screw that. I'm taking that pretty boy down today, no matter what." Seriously, how does a D-list celebrity have so many rabid fangirls? But to Qin Feng, this was a golden opportunity, served up on a silver platter. Without wasting a second, he headed straight for Song Fei's location. The destination, Withered Valley, a level 5 zone populated by flame-bound and shackle-type monsters. It didn't take long before the sounds of battle echoed through the air. Those same players from before. They were fighting a silver-tier boss, the twin-headed flamebound. The scene was chaotic. Players were brawling left and right, fists flying, feet kicking, total mayhem. Yet amid the chaos, Qin Feng's eyes locked straight on his Song Fei. The pretty boy was surrounded by a ring of overzealous fangirls, and leading them was a rather massive woman. One of the players couldn't hold back any longer and charged forward with a roar. "You're dead today, Song Fei. Don't think hiding behind a bunch of mage girls will save you. I've got the perfect anti-mage skill, Throat Lock. Say your prayers." Thud. A split second later, the massive fangirl slammed him to the ground with a single swing of her staff. "Nobody touches my Song Fei Gitch. Die, you loser." Song Fei, codename God-tier Mage, had risen to power in Qin Feng's past life by sweet-talking an army of girls into picking the mage class. He funneled all the gear and skills into himself and rocketed up the rankings. But having an all-mage team wasn't practical. So his fangirls came up with creative solutions. One dumped all her stat points in his spirit to become a glass cannon. Another maxed agility to serve as a harasser. One went full constitution and acted as a meat shield. And the craziest of them? Maxed strength and used her staff as a blunt weapon, basically a battle mage who just whacked people. Early on, they were unstoppable, steamrolling players and farming lifespan like bandits. But as the game progressed, their gimmicks fell apart. One by one, his girl squad got wiped out. Song Fei stood tall and pointed at the boss, voice full of emotion. "My dearest sisters, watching you all suffer breaks my heart. I just want this boss to die quickly, so you can finally rest. I dream of a world filled with love, not violence." The massive mage fangirl nearly burst into tears. "No, we're not the ones suffering. You are, Feiji. You've worked so hard, you don't deserve this. Girls, let's crush this disgusting thing. No one touches our Song Fei. Monsters may rage, but Song Fei shall reign. From beginning to end, only for Feiji. Fly high, dear brother. We'll always be by your side. You're our everything, Feiji. We'll go crazy for you forever. Keep pushing, girls. Beat this ugly freak down. Once this boss is dead, Feiji will hit the top of the leaderboards. We have to surpass that loser shadow no matter what. Shake the world. We pledge to fight beside Feiji till the end." Fueled by fanatical devotion, the boss was quickly overwhelmed by the horde of crazed fangirls. Song Fei gritted his teeth as he attacked. "Damn, this silver tier boss is tougher than I thought. That bastard shadow must have been cheating somehow. Even with all this help, I'm still just level 7. How the hell is he already 9? But once I kill this boss, I'll hit level 8. That shadow freak has been stuck at 9 for a while now. This is it. I'll surpass him and become a #1 player in the entire game." But before he could finish his thought, Qin Feng was already there, grabbing him by the head. In one clean motion, Shadow slash activated, his blade severing Song Fei's neck in a flash of cold steel. Song Fei never even saw it coming. His head hit the ground before he realized he'd been killed. As Song Fei gidge, his fangirls screamed in horror. But before they could react, Qin Feng wiped them all out. Ruthless, silent, and absolute. The surrounding players were stunned. Did I just see what I think I saw? He one-shot the boss. That skill hit for thousands of damage. My attacks barely do 100, and he hits 10 times that with one move. And it was an AoE too. He wiped out Song Fei and his entire fan club. That has to be the legendary Shadow. First in the world to kill a gold tier boss. Honestly, he did us all a favor taking Song Fei out. But Qin Feng just smirked with disdain. These people didn't admire him. They feared him. If this were his past life, they would have ganged up to kill him the moment he showed weakness. Meanwhile, Song Fei respawned back in town. A system message appeared. You were killed by Shadow. You've lost 1,106 days of tradable lifespan and 18 years, 113 days of untradable lifespan. Why the hell was Shadow in my starter town? Out of all the towns in Jianghai City, he came here just to kill me and stole my loot too. His remaining fangirls were in disbelief. Why would Shadow kill us and our Gidge? He must have been jealous of our silver tier loot. He sneak attacked while Gidge wasn't looking. What a dirty, low-tier coward. Just then, a green-clad ranger walked over. Song Fei Gidge, can I join your team? I have a skill, Hawkeye, that detects invisible units. But before he could say more, the fat mage fangirl snapped. Step aside. Song Fei Ji said mages only. Your DPS is trash. You'll slow him down. But to everyone's surprise, Song Fei raised a hand to stop her. That may be true, family, but I still believe that love conquers all. Then, with dramatic flair, he grabbed the ranger's hand. I can feel your passion. Even if you're a ranger, it's okay. Join us. Let's grow stronger together. Tears welled up in the ranger's eyes. Gidge, I love you so much. More fangirls stepped forward, fired up and ready for vengeance. Song Fei Gidge, I'm an assassin. I can use Shadow's tricks against him. Gidge, I just learned an AoE control spell. I can freeze him in place for you. Song Fei kept the brainwashing flowing like gospel. My dear family, we are a loving, united group, Anyone who wants to join us is welcome. We fight together, always. The crowd of fangirls burst into tears on the spot. Wow, Gidge is so gentle and kind. With Song Fei, we'll never regret a thing. That shadow guy? Total coward. He only dares to sneak attack from the shadows. We'll make him pay. Just wait, we'll lock him down and let Gidge finish him off. He'll learn the hard way not to mess with our Song Fei. Their commotion was so loud it drew attention from other players nearby. Yo, you hear what happened? That wannabe celeb just got bodied outside the dungeon. Word is, it was the Shadow Overlord himself. Damn, that guy's got guts, picking a fight with this circus. They act like it's a cult. It's low-key terrifying. Meanwhile, Song Fei stood tall in the center of it all, basking in the attention. With so many of you here to witness it, once I take down Shadow, the world will see solo power means nothing, especially for some squishy little rogue like him. Compared to me, the glorious Archmage, he's not even worth mentioning. Meanwhile, Qin Feng was quietly collecting loot using / Greedy Hand. He gained 16 evolution points, 217 days of tradable lifespan, and a stash of silver and gold tier items. He immediately spent 10 points to evolve / Fatal Release from Epic to Legendary. Weak point bonus increased from 100% to 200%. / Active Effect. Your next attack inflicts Throat Slash, dealing 100% to 150% of base damage per second for 3 seconds. The weak point zone was now doubled in size. Qin Feng chuckled to himself. Any bigger, and half the enemy's body would count as a weak point. Even multi-hit skills like Shadow Slash could land full weak point damage. He ran a quick mental calculation. Epic tier skills could evolve to Legendary for 0 points, but hitting Mythic tier would cost 100 times more, a full 200 points. And / Greedy Hand had already taken 210 points to reach Epic. Getting it to Legendary? That would need a whopping 3,400 points. Not worth it right now. With 9 points left, he opted to boost / Double Strike Enhancement instead. With the boss and players cleared out, his inventory stuffed with loot, it was time to return to town and sort everything out. Just as Qin Feng was about to head back to town, a shadowy figure suddenly appeared behind him, launching a sneak attack. Die, Shadow, the attacker shouted. But with a casual spin, Qin Feng effortlessly dodged the strike. He looked at the would-be assassin, puzzled. Did I do something to offend you? The attacker, realizing his ambush had failed, panicked and vanished into stealth. Moments later, Song Fei's fan club charged in. You ugly freak. Prepare to die. Shadow, you're surrounded. We're here to avenge our Gidge. Instantly, Qin Feng activated / Shadow Step, slipping into invisibility. But one of the fangirls, a green-clad archer, fired off a / Reveal Arrow. It's useless. We can detect stealth. Unfortunately, her arrow tagged someone else too, their own assassin ally. Seeing the marked target, the fat mage fangirl lit up with excitement. Girls, hit her with everything you've got. Fly fans, roll out. Leave no survivors. Without hesitation, a barrage of magic rained down. Fire, frost, lightning, all aimed at the poor assassin. With a deafening boom, the girl was obliterated on the spot. The archer blinked. Wait, I think we hit the wrong person. But the fat mage waved her off with a snort. So what? She's not a mage anyway. Clearly, she never really loved our Fei. This was divine punishment. Then she pointed again. Now shoot another arrow. Find that shadow freak. Qin Feng didn't panic for even a second. Instead, he calmly pulled out a special item, Ghost Fire Bell, which paralyzes all enemies within 100 meters for 3 seconds. In the blink of an eye, the entire fangirl squad, including the fat mage, froze in place, their bodies refusing to move. Then, dark mist crept in from every direction, like death itself had arrived. Qin Feng's silhouette emerged from the shadows, and in the same instant, Shadow Slash was unleashed. With a single strike, every last fangirl was wiped out. No screams, no resistance, just instant death. Song Fei, watching from afar, turned pale. Was that Shadow again? But if he attacked, shouldn't he have shown himself? But before he could say another word, a cold voice whispered right into his ear, Song Fei, you're already dead. In a panic, Song Fei threw up his magic shield. But to Qin Feng, it was nothing more than a paper wall. He flicked a poison dart. It tore straight through the shield and embedded itself dead center in Song Fei's forehead. Thud! Song Fei collapsed, lifeless for the second time. Qin Feng glanced at the corpse. Oh, not bad. Over 2,000 days of tradable lifespan. Guess he was worth something after all. As for the fangirls, not a single day of lifespan dropped. Clearly, they had already given every last bit to Song Fei. After all this time, do they still think Divine Relic is just a regular game? Qin Feng shook his head. These fangirls were borderline cult-level scary. A shame, really, all that untradable lifespan, centuries worth, just gonna waste, ending up as snacks for the local monsters. Meanwhile, Song Fei respawned back in town, fuming. Damn that shadow. I had 2,000 days of tradable lifespan. Now I'm down to just 500. The fat mage turned on the green archer. Didn't you use your stealth reveal skill? The archer defended herself. I did. It revealed that female assassin. But I guess Shadow's invisibility was higher level. Anti-stealth level 1 only works on basic stealth. If he's using level 2 or higher, we can't see him at all. How are we supposed to defend against that? Song Fei tried to reassure himself. I didn't really offend him. Sure, I stole a boss and some kills, but it's not like I made it personal, right? He probably won't come after me again. Then a darker thought hit him. Wait, what if he's jealous of my godlike face? Is that why he targeted me? Just to be safe, Song Fei rallied his remaining fans. Let's move. Wherever Fei Fei goes, we go too. A short while later, Qin Feng returned to town, only to find no trace of Song Fei or his fangirls. He asked a nearby player if they'd seen where the group had gone. The player pointed in a general direction, then lowered his voice and added, Hey, could you maybe spare my girlfriend? Her name's Fei Bao Miao. She's a hunter. The one who used the reveal arrow. Please, bro, the player pleaded. She's the first girlfriend I've ever had. It took me forever to get her. Qin Feng didn't respond. His mind was focused on something else entirely. If I can find Gu Ishue, this will be much easier. And just as he had that thought, a familiar figure passed right in front of him. A closer look confirmed it. It was Gu Ishue. He stepped forward immediately. I heard your class can expand search range. Help me locate Song Fei's position. Do that, and I'll sell you a gold tier weapon for cheap. Gu Ishue gave him a sharp look. You're Shadow, aren't you? How do you know what skills I have? I've never told anyone. Also, I can't afford gold gear. 500 days of tradable lifespan. Qin Feng offered flatly. That did it. She lit up instantly. Holding the gold staff in her hands, she practically drooled. Finally, a gold tier staff of my own. Qin Feng gave her a light knock on the head. Snap out of it. Focus. As she activated her scouting skill, a strange feeling crept over her. There's something weirdly familiar about him, and he knows I hate Song Fei. Could he be someone I know in real life? But the voice doesn't match, whatever, not worth guessing. She released her search companion and synced her vision with it, sensing through its eyes. The pet flitted across buildings and rooftops, then finally spotted the target. Coordinates 3866. But I can't guarantee they'll stay put. By the time you get there, they might have moved. Qin Feng nodded and signaled her to add him as a friend. Keep tracking them. Report if they move again. As Qin Feng walked along, he suddenly came to a stop in front of a massive tree. Something had caught his eye, a strange symbol carved into the bark. He immediately asked Gu Ishue to check if there were any other trees nearby with the same markings. Her scouting pet quickly confirmed. There were 2 more trees in the vicinity with identical symbols. Qin Feng reached out and pressed his hand against the first symbol, then the second, and finally the third. Instantly, a glowing triangular formation lit up, linking the 3 trees with a vibrant green energy field. At the center of the triangle, a radiant emerald tier chest slowly emerged from the ground. He hadn't expected this, triggering a blessing of the old gods event this close to a starter village, and opening an emerald chest at that. Blessings of the old gods were rare world events. usually appearing in the godforsaken zones. Players had to find and activate a set of strange symbols hidden in the environment to unlock them. Sometimes they summoned terrifying monsters, but other times they granted incredible rewards. Just one Emerald tier chest could easily contain over 1,000 days of tradable lifespan, worth millions of in-game currency. In his past life, the day one exchange rate was 1 day of lifespan to 10,000 manii. By day 2, it had skyrocketed to 1:15,000. He opened the chest immediately and got a new skill, Curse Bloom, /Curse Bloom. Use on a player's corpse within 15 seconds of death. A curse flower grows from the body, continuously draining their tradable lifespan until it hits 0. Cooldown none, which meant from now on, every time Qin Feng killed a player, all he had to do was wait near the corpse, and he could absorb every last bit of their lifespan. Qin Feng smirked coldly. Sun Fei's glory days are over. I'm going to hunt him down until he's forced to log off. Then I'll hit level 10, bring my power into the real world, and finish him for good. Meanwhile, Sun Fei was out in the wild, slaying monsters with his fangirl squad. He muttered under his breath, "We've come this far. That shadow freak won't follow us here, right? Once I level up, I'll hunt him down myself." Just then, the fat mage beside him pointed excitedly. "Appa, look! Someone's fighting a boss over there. Wait a sec. I recognize them. They're Lu Jieqi's fans. Those disgusting worms are trying to make her popular. Sisters, let's crush them. We can't let anyone get in Appa's way." Before anyone could react, she charged forward and smashed a girl's head in with her staff. The victim's teammates stared in disbelief. "What the hell is wrong with you? Are you out of your mind?" The fat mage scoffed. "That's what Lu Jieqi's fans deserve." The girl looked totally confused. "What? Lu Jieqi? What are you talking, Abu?" Thwack! An arrow flew straight into her mouth, silencing her mid-sentence. She collapsed in front of her horrified teammates. The death only fired them up more. Crowned in gold, soaring with Fei, crush all pretenders, sweep across the lands. As vast as the cosmos, we rise with you. For our Fei Appa, forever and always. Watching the carnage, Sun Fei beamed proudly. "Thank you, my dearest family. I almost got ambushed by Lu Jieqi's scheming fans, but thanks to you, I'm safe." The fangirls burst into tears. "You don't have to thank us, Appa. Through wind and fire, our hearts belong to Sun Fei." But while they celebrated, they had no idea I had already slipped right into their ranks. One quick stealth skill. Then, my voice whispered chillingly into Sun Fei's ear. "Sun Fei, you're already dead." Slash! A cold flash of steel cut across his throat, and blood gushed into the air. His fangirls screamed in horror. "OPPA." But it was too late. Sun Fei's headless body dropped to the ground with a thud. Without hesitation, Qin Feng activated his Curse Bloom. Instantly, a massive crimson flower burst from Song Fei's severed neck, spiraling upward like a bloody vine. The sight left Song Fei's diehard fans frozen in terror. What the hell is that? A second later, Song Fei was forcefully respawned at the revival spring. Furious, he shouted at the top of his lungs, "Shadow, are you insane? Why are you so obsessed with me? Is that crazy chick your fan or something? That has nothing to do with me, damn it." Glancing at his panel, his face turned pale. Only 400 tradable days left. Why the hell am I getting punished just for dying a few times? His followers then spilled the truth. The flower growing from his corpse had been draining his lifespan the entire time. Song Fei lost it. That bastard's trying to kill me for real. Panicking, he waved goodbye and slammed the log out button. "If I don't quit now, I'm gonna die for real." But not before screaming, "Shadow, you just wait. I'll drown you in cash if I have to." Meanwhile, Qin Feng's Slaughterer trait had reached Tier 4 due to excessive player kills, meaning 96% of his victim's lifespan now dropped upon death. This time, he earned a full 1,000 days, and the system prompt absorption ended. Meant Song Fei's group had officially logged out. Watching everything unfold, Gu Ishua trembled. "This shadow guy, he's terrifying." Qin Feng calmly told her, "Let me know the moment Song Fei comes back online." Qin Feng also picked up a golden tier pre-skill, Sword of Divine Judgment, and sold it to Gu Ishue at half the market price. But, he said casually, there's one condition, you have to join Wang Meng's party. At that moment, Wang Meng was still grinding mobs out in the wild. Unfortunately, Qin Xiaoyu's clumsy healing nearly drove him insane. I spent all that time finding cleanse, and she botched the cast on the first try. Without timely healing, Wang Meng dropped dead on the spot. With their tank down, the party had no choice but to retreat back to the town. This useless healer has to go, Wang Meng muttered. But all the good ones have already been taken. Where the hell am I supposed to find a decent support now? Just then, he received a message from Qin Feng. Gu Ishue was willing to join his team. Wang Meng didn't even hesitate. Deal. Without a second thought, he booted Qin Xiaoyu from the party. Sorry, your level's too low. Take care of yourself. Qin Xiaoyu exploded. You bastard. If you want to ditch me, just say it. I'm already level 4 anyway. Screw you. I'll go find Shadow to carry me. Wang Meng soon arrived and handed over the trading lifespan he owed Qin Feng, then quickly introduced both sides. Just then, a crisp voice echoed from behind. Wang Meng, I'm here. To everyone's surprise, it was in you, codenamed Justice Enforcer, and the sole wielder of the hidden class, Dragon Knight. In Qin Feng's previous life, she ranked among the global top 20 powerhouses and was a national pillar of Diaxia. Foreign enemies dreaded her name, but he remembered she didn't usually party with Wang Meng. Could it be she's already representing the Jianghai authorities, collecting massive lifespan stocks? She's got insane survivability as a former archer. No wonder the officials feel safe betting on her. And you raise an eyebrow and teased. Shadow, you're not planning to kill me for my lifespan, are you? Qin Feng smirked. Relax. We both win through cooperation, not conflict. Soon, the authorities confirmed it. Lifespan in the artifact game is real. If it hits 0, the player dies in the real world too. I don't care if it's just a game. I'll donate all my lifespan to Brother Song Fei, screamed a rabid fangirl. Damn it, I only have a few years left, someone wailed. Especially the meat shield girl who kept dying for Song Fei. She now had just 1 day of lifespan remaining. But then, players saw Song Fei frantically buying up lifespan on the black market. Brother Song Fei must be securing it for our safety. I'm wearing all his merch, hoodie, hat, and even the new ultra-thin anti-leak shorts. Brother Song Fei, here I come. Meanwhile, Qin Xiaoyu had just logged off and returned to the real world, feeling dizzy between game and reality. 15 grand for just 1 day of lifespan, 200 days makes me a millionaire. But the next message she saw nearly stopped her heart. Shadow is slaughtering Brother Song Fei again. 3 times in a row. Qin Xiaoyu burst into tears. Why? Why does Shadow keep killing Brother Song Fei? And he managed to kill Song Fei 3 times while being ganged up on by dozens. Shadow is terrifying beyond belief. No, I have to help Brother Song Fei right now. She quickly locked onto his location, downtown at the Jiang Plaza. Thank goodness, I still have over 200 days of tradable lifespan left. I'm donating all of it to Brother Song Fei. Meanwhile, Qin Feng was grinding levels like a machine, not wasting a single second. He finally hit level 10, gaining +2 to all attributes and 5 free stat points. System Notice UVE unlocked your class advancement. First to reach level 10 in Jianghai City, +7 reputation. First in the entire nation, +14 reputation. First in the entire world, +21 reputation. Jianghai now has 7 players at level 10, unlocking the teleport gate to the abandoned continent of the gods. As the first to reach it, your name has been globally broadcasted. It's Shadow again. First to kill the gold tier boss, now the first to hit level 10, and he even triple killed that celebrity wannabe Song Fei. Legend. Aish, Shadows from Diaxia. Our country has 1.5 billion people. How come none of us can catch up to him? What a disgrace. Qin Feng then upgraded his backstab boost skill to the emerald tier, boosting its damage from 40% to 50%. But after that, He only had 7,455 days of tradable lifespan left. To unlock the portal out of the beginner town, 7 players must reach level 10. Yet the current highest was only level 7. Looks like he had to wait. So, he decided to log out and take care of something important in the real world. The moment he woke up, he began extracting all his levels, gear, and skills into reality. However, the system flagged, bloodline extraction, and divine trait extraction are currently unavailable. Still, his class passive kicked in, plus 3 strength, plus 3 constitution, plus 8 agility, plus 5 spirit. Then he spent 2,000 days of lifespan to level up in real life to level 3, earning plus 4 strength, plus 4 constitution, plus 14 agility, plus 4 spirit. Next up, extracting skills. Normally, higher tier skills would cost way more lifespan to extract, sometimes exponentially so. But to his surprise, the cost was based on the skill's original tier, not its evolved version. That meant extracting platinum tier Shadow Meld only cost 900 days. In the end, he successfully brought over 2 game skills, Shadow Meld Platinum tier and Venom Dart Silver tier. He now had only 1,292 days of lifespan left. But with those skills, it was more than worth it. His physical stats were now twice that of an average person, and with 32 agility, he had officially gone beyond human limits. Pair that with permanent invisibility and a 14-meter range poison attack, and he could eliminate Song Fei without breaking a sweat. And right now, Song Fei was at the Jiang Plaza, madly buying up lifespan, clearly planning to settle the scoring game. But Qin Feng had a better idea. Deal with him now, permanently. Just then, Qin Feng's phone started ringing. The caller ID showed it was Hu Qibin, the arrogant manager who always bullied others with his position. Qin Feng getting bold now? Not answering my calls? Do you know how lucky you are that the young lady has her eyes on you? And you still act like this? Call me back now. Without a second thought, Qin Feng blocked the number. He had no time to deal with them anymore. They'd soon realize what the so-called artifact game truly meant. Meanwhile, Jiangdao Plaza was buzzing with excitement. The place was packed with die-hard fans of Song Fei. Song Fei himself was sitting on stage next to a blonde woman. She was the one assigned to uncover Qin Feng's true identity. She even offered a number no one could refuse, but had no intention of letting her informant live long enough to spend it. Someone in the crowd yelled, "This time, we're going to make that guy pay for what he did to Song Fei." But then another voice rose above the noise. "Don't sell your lifespan to anyone. Didn't you read the official announcement? If your lifespan hits 0 in the game, you die in real life. Song Fei, you knew that and still brainwash your fans into trading their lives? You're literally getting people killed. I'm reporting you." But Song Fei simply scratched his head, looking gentle and calm. Then he stood up and addressed the crowd with sincerity. "I've heard the concerns going around. My act of purchasing lifespan may have used up some public resources, and for that, I sincerely apologize if it caused anyone trouble. I hope all of you can remain rational in your support. During this unusual time with the artifact game, please stay safe and channel your passion into something positive that uplifts society. I've been cooperating closely with the authorities and working hard within the game. Using my own personal wealth to buy lifespan is my way of becoming a role model, someone truly worthy of your support. It's also my way of giving back to the fans. I want you to find joy outside the game, live peacefully, and have hope for a better tomorrow. If my actions caused any distress, I offer my deepest apologies to everyone." Instantly, the crowd of die-hard fans burst into tears. "You don't need to apologize, Feiji. You're too kind. You've done nothing wrong." They turn on the protester with rage. "You uncultured trolls. Get lost. We're helping Song Fei willingly. Don't insult his sincerity." A plus-size female fan stepped forward and shouted, "Don't believe those bogus rumors. Questioning our Feiji? Only brainless pigs believe that nonsense. How could game lifespan affect the real world? I've given up my lifespan for him. Sure, I got a warning that I had less than a day left, but look, I'm still here. And even if it was real, if you don't have the guts to die for Feiji, you don't deserve to love him." Her dramatic declaration sent the rest of the fans into a frenzied uproar. I still have 3 days left. Take my 20 days, Fei Ji. 17 days here. Don't let them go to waste. Song Fei didn't even flinch. Instead, he stood there beaming, voice full of faux sincerity. Wow, backslash. I can truly feel your passion. I love you all. He reached out his hand toward the plus-sized woman. Especially you. To be loved by someone like you. I'm truly, deeply touched. That fan froze on the spot, heart pounding. If he looks at me like that, I'd gladly die for him. But the next second, whoosh, a beam of blue energy pierced straight through Song Fei's skull from the back. Qin Xiaoyu was frozen in shock. The blonde woman beside her paled. What the hell just happened? Blood gushed from Song Fei's mouth as the back of his head bloomed open like a grotesque firework, dissolving in a black mist. The plus-sized fan stood frozen, unable to move as Song Fei's lifeless body collapsed against her shoulder. Only when his corpse hit the ground did she finally snap out of it. Song Fei is really dead. Security on the stage immediately rushed to escort the blonde woman away. Chaos erupted among the fans below, panic screams, people shoving, complete disorder. Meanwhile, the blonde woman noticed something strange. Right after Song Fei died, a glowing orb of lifespan emerged from his body and vanished into thin air. What shocked everyone even more was that Song Fei had been killed using a skill from the Divine Artifact game. Wait, does this mean game skills can be used in the real world? And if there's anyone who could one-shot Song Fei and snatch his lifespan on the spot, it could only be one person, Shadow. But by the time the blonde investigator realized it, it was already too late. Song Fei was long gone. News of his death spread like wildfire. Top idol killed by supernatural forces. Devoted fans who donated their entire lifespan dropped dead beside his corpse. The official report confirmed it. Cause of death, paranormal activity. But Qin Xiaoyu refused to believe it. Just yesterday, she was at Song Fei's concert, watching him shine like a star. Now, backslash, he was dead, right in front of her. Throwing daggers, invisibility. Aren't those skills from the game? Could it really be Shadow? He already killed Song Fei 3 times in-game. Maybe this really isn't a coincidence. How could game skills exist in reality? And yet, those exact skills, throwing daggers, stealth, were Shadow's signature moves. There's no doubt. It had to be him. Shadow is the one who killed her idol. Her world had lost all light. If he can bring game powers into reality, then she must too. No matter the cost, she had to get stronger. She must get close to him. From this day on, Qin Xiaoyu would live for one reason only: to kill Shadow and avenge her beloved Song Fei. What she didn't know was that the one who murdered her idol was none other than her own half-brother. Even though the Divine Artifact game syncs with reality and players are technically invincible while playing, their real bodies still burn energy. If you don't eat, you'll still feel the hunger in the real world. That's when Qin Feng got another WeChat message from his colleague, Yang Xiaoya. Qin Feng, that fat bastard who is going ballistic. He said you blocked his number and his WeChat. If you don't show up soon, you're getting fired. And your salary for this month? Gone. Xiaoya was a kind girl, gentle, but a bit of a pushover, always getting bullied. In his past life, she'd been one of the core members of his guild, Godslayers. So he messaged her back. Ignore him. Don't go back to work either. Just log into the game and start leveling up. No matter which class you pick, dump all your points into agility early on. Fat Hu was just a barking dog. The real threat was the person backing him, the daughter of the Qian Group chairman, Qian Shishir. Qin Feng's old job was under the Qian Group umbrella, and that rich heiress? She never did an honest day's work. All she did was chase after men. Rumor had it she once brought 6 African bodybuilders to a hotel and took a joyride with 3 middle-aged foreign businessmen. And now, she had her eyes set on him. Qian Shishir was a hardcore Western worshiper. Not long after the Divine Artifact game launched, she left Daxia for North America, where she spearheaded the formation of one of the top 3 guilds, Wonderland. And from day one, that guild had been openly hostile to Daxia. In his past life, she'd been a major headache for Qin Feng's Godslayer guild. That's why this time, he had to eliminate her before she fled the country. Cut her off early and maybe Wonderland would never come to be. Rumor had it that every single co-founder of the Wonderland Guild had slept with her. If she died, their little alliance would crumble on the spot. Just then, Qin Xiaoyu called him. "Oh, you're still alive? I figured you died inside that game. Well, I'm calling to let you know I bought my own place. Don't bother me ever again." Qin Feng snorted. "That's fine. Don't look for me. Don't ask where I live. And stay out of my life." Just before he hung up, her voice turned icy. "Qin Feng, from now on, we're no longer siblings." He didn't even flinch. There were more important things to do, like getting back in the game to level up fast. Soon, others would hit level 10. Once they started extracting abilities into the real world, the truth would spread, and then chaos would follow. Meanwhile, Qin Xiaoyu was obsessed with finding the legendary shadow. In her desperation, she struck a deal with her simp just to get an assassin skill book, even going so far as to sell her own body for it. That book was her ticket to revenge. Her plan was to have Wang Ming hand it to Shadow, use that as an excuse to approach him, and then kill him for what he did to her beloved Song Fei. In her twisted mind, she rehearsed her plan. "I'll stay by your side silently, heal you, kill your enemies, help you level up. I'll be the perfect support, always there, always helpful. You'll grow to trust me, depend on me, maybe even fall for me. You'll think I'm your soulmate. But once I'm strong enough, and you're no longer useful, I'll kill you with my own hands. I'll gouge out your eyes, and that'll be my justice for Song Fei." But before her fantasy could even play out, Wang Ming splashed her with cold reality. "The boss says your skill book is trash. He doesn't want it. Better keep it for yourself." Earlier that day, while Qin Feng was grinding levels, he'd heard a commotion nearby. From the murmurs of other players, he caught the name of the monster. It was a golden-ranked boss called Severed Limb, already level 8. Qin Feng narrowed his eyes, a smirk playing on his lips. "Interesting. If I remember right, this boss has tier 2 anti-stealth. That means my invisibility is useless against it." The golden-ranked Severed Limb had spotted Qin Feng, let out a furious roar, and charged at him with a massive blade in hand. But instead of dodging, instantly, he unleashed a flurry of skills, one after another, chaining into a near 10,000 damage combo. Normally, that would have doubled if he attacked from stealth. But with the boss's anti-invisibility vision, the ambush bonus was nullified and the damage took a hit. Thankfully, his legendary skill Divine Release kicked in, amplifying the boss's head and heart weak points by 200%. Out of the 9 strikes from Shadow Flurry, 3 landed squarely on those weak points, triggering triple damage and making up for the lost output. "Legendary skills really are a game changer," Qin Feng muttered, and he had to thank that girl Ez. Without her, he would have never found a shrine of faith to obtain this skill. Hidden nearby, Black Rose had just arrived. Her eyes widened in awe. So this is Shadow's true power? One skill, and he wiped out 1/6 of the boss's HP. Qin Feng wasn't done. With a quick flick, he hurled a poison dagger right at the beast. But this time, it only dealt 1,785 damage. T6, silver tears falling behind, he thought. The poison dagger wasn't cutting it anymore. If he wanted to keep his edge, especially against bosses with higher resistance, he had to evolve his class and unlock greater stealth mastery. Suddenly, Black Rose shouted from the distance, "Boss, look out!" Qin Feng's eyes sharpened in an instant. When did she even get here? He hadn't noticed her at all, even though he was currently in a weakened post-stealth state, with reduced stats and damage. He was still confident he could handle this golden-ranked Severed Limb. From afar, Black Rose stood frozen wide-eyed. What the hell was that speed? And he knows this boss's patterns like the back of his hand. His reaction speed's on par with the boss, but he dodges every attack like he's fought it dozens of times before. What she didn't know was, back in his previous life, Qin Xiaoyu couldn't even protect herself, let alone heal him. So Qin Feng had trained himself to fight solo. Perfect dodges, precise footwork, and evasive combat. Being a warrior wasn't just about tanking, it was about smart, stylish survival. That's exactly how he'd reached the global top 100, using nothing but the game's most basic warrior class. Compared to bosses like the Golden Ghost ship, those with undodgeable moves, This severed limb was practically easy mode. Realizing it was outmatched, the boss turned and ran without a second thought. But Qin Feng wasn't about to let it escape. If it's weak, finish it off. He quickly coated his long sword with venom, the blade now glowing with a sinister green hue. Then, with a burst of speed, he dashed forward. The sword tore through the air with a sharp whistle, slicing clean through the boss's neck. In one brutal motion, the monster's head flew off its shoulders. Qin Feng gained 6,400 experience points and 7 evolution arts, plus a whopping 497 days of tradable lifespan. Thanks to his passive abilities, he earned another 21 evolution points and 1,491 more days of lifespan. This was insane. One gold tier boss dropped all of this, and even better, it dropped a platinum tier assassin skill book, Shadow Light Shield. When activated, it converts all dodge rate into damage blocking shields for 8 seconds. Cooldown, 60 seconds. Requires level 8. Every 20% dodge equals 1 shield layer. Once the shield breaks or time runs out, the dodge rate returns to normal. Combine that with the 75% dodge bonus from the Epic Phantom Blur, and he gets 3 full layers of shields instantly. With this, most bosses could be defeated without taking a single hit. Without hesitation, Qin Feng evolved Shadow Light Shield to the Epic tier. Now, he had 7 layers of damage immunity and access to higher level zones. As for the remaining 22 evolution points, he used them to upgrade Poison Dagger to Emerald tier. After the upgrade, its damage output more than doubled, and with just a 5-second cooldown, it rivaled Shadow Slash in sustained DPS. He also picked up 2 more assassin-type items. A platinum tier accessory called Ring of Agility, granting plus 20 agility, plus 0% move speed, plus 20% attack speed, and plus 20% cooldown reduction. Requires level 8. The second was a gold tier armor piece, Heavy Crimson Gloves. With these 2 equipped, Qin Feng's cooldown reduction hit 55%. His Shadow Slash, which originally had a 12-second cooldown, now dropped to just 7.7 seconds. On top of that, he gained 51 Constitution, 106 Physical Defense, and 1,517 HP. He could now tank 3 hits from a gold tier Reaper without dying, and with Shadow Light Shield, his survivability was through the roof. At that moment, Black Rose and her teammates came over. "Damn, you're a monster. You soloed that gold tier bug boss? Got any skill books I can use, big bro?" Qin Feng replied calmly, "This one's a level 7 skill book. Its damage is over 40% higher than level 5. Trust me, 800 days is fair." Black Rose didn't hesitate. "Deal. 800 days it is." At this stage, early game bosses were no longer a threat. Qin Feng decided to return to town and post a bounty board, buying up location info for silver and gold tier bosses. With a steady stream of kills lined up, his power growth would go full throttle. Just then, Qin Feng got a message from Wang Meng. "Hey, a priest named Qin Xiaoyu asked me to reach out to you. She wants to give you a skill book." He didn't even need to think. He knew exactly what this was about. Right now, most players believe Shadow was the one who killed Song Fei, and suddenly she's offering a skill book to Shadow? Outsiders would either think she's trying to suck up, or get close to take revenge, or maybe both. So Qin Feng turned down her offer without hesitation. But this did give him the perfect chance to sell off some gear to Wang Meng and his crew. He told Wang Meng to head over to town right away. But then Wang Meng sent another message, sounding him out. Bro, was it really you who killed Song Fei?" Qin Feng paused for a second, then gave him a straight answer. "Yeah, I did." After all, Wang Meng was on his friend list, and when Song Fei was taken out, Qin Feng had been offline. The timing and motive both pointed straight at him. Since Wang Meng dared to ask that question, it was clear the officials had already figured out most of the truth. And in just 2 hours, other players would reach level 10. By then, the secret about real-world ability extraction couldn't stay hidden. It was the perfect moment to gauge the government's stance. Qin Feng responded coldly, "What now? You guys planning to arrest me?" And it wasn't just Wang Meng pressing him. The Lizzie and you had also shown up. "So it's true, huh? You're admitting you killed Song Fei." Qin Feng calmly nodded. Yeah, I did. He thought you would back away from him immediately. But to his surprise, the guy was still smiling. To be honest, we've already looked into this thoroughly. You're definitely a prime suspect. But we also know Song Fei and Jiangli had it out for you. Not to mention, the Jiang Corporation was imprisoning players and forcing them to grind like slaves. Honestly, you taking them out might have just been self-defense. From that, Qin Feng understood their real message. Since they couldn't confirm his identity, they planned to keep working with him for now. In his past life, his dealings with the officials were clean. But this time, by eliminating Song Fei and Jiangli early, he might be changing the entire timeline. Let's see just how much chaos his rebirth could bring to this so-called God item game. For now, he decided to sell off the platinum tier gear he didn't need. Wang Meng and the others would definitely need all kinds of class-specific equipment and skill books. And the officials had endless lifespan to trade. But until he figured out their true intentions, he wasn't going to hand over any of his emerald tier gear. Wang Meng and his crew knew the truth. While it took their entire team everything they had to barely kill a silver tier boss, Qin Feng was soloing bosses like it was nothing. And the loot he dropped, always platinum or even emerald grade. If they wanted to keep up, staying on his good side was non-negotiable. Qin Feng offered all the gear at a flat price. 16,000 days of tradable lifespan. Wang Meng nearly dropped his phone. That's crazy cheap. And hey, let me pay off what I owed you from last time too. To put it in perspective, once tradable lifespan exceeds 10,000 days, it converts into years. 60 years equals 22,000 days. At the current exchange rate, that was worth a staggering 400 million in cash. Even for a city government like Jianghai's, that was a huge chunk of money. But the strategic value far outweighed the cost. With these items and skill books, the city could now train elite squads way ahead of schedule. The stronger the government became, the fewer problems they'd face later on, and maybe even get a leg up in global conflicts. That's when you spoke up. The Jiang Corporation is still holding several players hostage. We're planning a rescue mission. You and Big Bro. It was obvious they wanted to recruit him. But Qin Feng didn't feel like playing along. No need. But I will tell you one thing. You were right. I did kill them using powers from the game. Once your divine gear hits level 10, you can burn lifespan to extract your in-game abilities into the real world. You know what that means. So if you're smart, start grinding. And at Jiang Corporation, they were also scrambling to buy up lifespan. If their people hit level 10 first, your rescue mission's going to get a lot harder. Hope you understand what's at stake. With that, Qin Feng vanished from sight, and you turned to the others. Let's split up to level. That'll help us grind faster overall. Wang Ming nodded. Everyone focus on hitting level 10 ASAP. And don't forget, report everything to HQ the moment you log off. Meanwhile, Qin Feng had already arrived at the plaza and set up his stall. Players nearby were stunned. Wait, Shadow's setting up shop again? But he's not selling. He's buying stuff this time. That's when Maoli Jun, the bootlicker, strutted over with a grin. Still setting up a stall? Our young lady has a deal for you. Help her level up, and you'll get 300 million cash plus shares into Jiang Corp. Come on, man. How many times do you get a shot like this in life? You'd be a fool to turn it down. But the next second, he overheard chatter from nearby players. Shadow had killed Song Fei and Jiangli in the real world. What the hell? That little chick brought it on herself. They had planned to catch Shadow in real life and force him into slave labor, but ended up getting wrecked on the spot instead. Jiang Li had even offered 10 million up front for Shadow to power level her, but he rejected it. I jumped at the offer, thinking I'd get 5 million for myself. But who would have thought? In real life, it could beat the crap out of me, whipped me daily, abused me, and forced me to grind the game just to earn them lifespan. I never imagined that I used to mock Shadow for being naive. Turns out the real fool was me. Sorry, boss, I'll see myself out. Qin Feng didn't even bother responding. Trash like him would get what's coming. Sooner or later, the officials would deal with him. Moments later, a few players showed up offering boss coordinates. 30 days of lifespan for a silver tier boss, and 100 days for a gold tier one. Suddenly, someone in the crowd shouted, "Look, it's Spade. She's supposedly the heiress of the rebirth conglomerate in real life." Stay far away. She's killed tons of players. If she locks onto you, she'll drain your lifespan without a second thought. Back in the day, she didn't even care about this game, just threw money at it. Bought gear, bought skills. As long as her power level was higher, she'd just hunt down other players and steal their years. If it weren't for this cursed game delaying her flight, she'd be in North America right now partying with Big D and the others. Now she's stuck in Dacia's magic capital. Can't even leave the country. And look at these Dacia men, weak little bugs. Tony, your guys are way more fun. Tony grinned proudly. Of course, we're very good at that sort of thing. Once we're back in the real world, I'll make sure you feel it firsthand. The news said Song Fei, that useless piece of trash, was dead. I slept with him once. Lasted less than a minute. Total disappointment. They say the guy who killed him is called Shadow. Sure, he's from Huaxia, but he's ranked #1 in the world. I suppose I could lower myself to meet him. If Shadow could kill Song Fei that easily, taking out an ordinary guy would be child's play. Perfect excuse to make contact. Alright, I'm logging off to make a few calls. Gonna send someone to reach out to Shadow. Maybe he's not interested in money, but I doubt he'd say no to 3,000 days of lifespan. All it takes is a flick of his finger. Qin Feng, I'll never forget the look on your face when you turn me down. You'll pay for that one day. Meanwhile, the simp Zhang Wei was desperately grinding monsters with Qin Xiaoyu on his team. Qin Xiaoyu and Yin were playing support on the side. Xiaoyu, can you not heal me at the last second every time? I was one hit away from visiting my great-grandma. Qin Xiaoyu rolled her eyes, totally unimpressed. Quit whining. You're still alive, aren't you? Anyway, system says my hunger's at 90%. I'm logging off for food. With that, Qin Xiaoyu left Zhang Wei hanging. He clenched his fists, seething. Damn it. She used to call me Big Bro all the time. Ever since she met Shadow, she's been giving me attitude. Qin Xiaoyu, just wait. One day, I'll tear that smug look and your clothes right off. At the same time, Qin Xiaoyu returned to the real world. No food delivery? Not a single driver accepted my order. Don't tell me they've all logged into that damn Divine Gear game. She suddenly remembered. Back then, Qin Feng used to cook for her. No thinking, no effort, just good food served hot. Why am I even thinking about him now? She quickly shook her head. Come on, Xiaoyu, pull yourself together. It's just a meal. Compared to freedom, this is nothing. You're amazing. You don't need Qin Feng. You'll thrive on your own. Meanwhile, Qin Feng had followed the coordinates to a coastal cave. Just as expected, a silver tier boss was lurking inside. Over the next hour, he wiped out 4 silver bosses with ease. The grind was smooth, and each one dropped 16 evolution points plus a fat chunk of tradable lifespan, adding up to a whopping 3,500 days. By now, he was fully geared in gold tier equipment. His cooldown reduction had climbed to 75%, dropping Shadow Slash to just 6.8 seconds. His burst damage? Through the roof. The outskirts of town didn't have any platinum tier bosses yet, so gold gear was currently top tier. To go further, he needed to unlock a class advancement. Future battles would involve platinum bosses, each with at least a tier 2 reaction stat. He still needed over 20,000 EXP to unlock level 3 stealth. Once he hit that, hunting bosses would become a whole different game. In his past life, it took a coordinated team of 20 players just to bring down a single platinum tier boss. But this time, Qin Feng had a different plan. He returned to town, ready to sell his gear and skills to the government. He'd be the first to solo a platinum boss and claim the world's first kill. He sold everything to Wang Meng, raking in nearly 40,000 days of tradable lifespan. That's 105 years. Now, he could extract a ton of useful stuff into the real world. Just then, a shadowy figure appeared behind him. You're Shadow, right? I got a job for you. Interested? It's a real-world target. Don't worry, the pay is worth your time. Qin Feng ignored him completely, but the man stepped in front of him. Wait, it's just some guy named Qin Feng. You killed Song Fei, didn't you? This is pocket change for someone like you. Hearing his own name, Qin Feng raised an eyebrow. What? He pissed you off or something? You want him dead? The man waved dismissively. That's not your concern. What matters is the pay. 3,000 days of tradable lifespan. What do you say? Qin Feng was mildly amused. That kind of bounty was worth nearly 50 million in real-world currency. And he'd never seen this guy before, which meant someone else was pulling the strings. In his past life, people only started targeting him much later in the game. But now, someone was already coming after him this early. And there was only one person who fit the bill, Qian Shishir. She had the motive. She had the money. Honestly, with her family's power, she could have had him killed before the game even launched. So this job wasn't just about the hit. She probably just wanted an excuse to meet Shadow. Killing Qin Feng was just a bonus. After all, he had rejected her marriage proposal in public. He hadn't gone looking for her, but she found him anyway. Qin Feng agreed to take the job without hesitation. But on one condition, half the payment up front. And the timing? He would decide when. The moment Qin Feng mentioned upfront payment, the man looked completely stunned. I'll need to check with my superiors on that. Soon, he returned with an answer. They agreed, half up front. We can finalize the deal here and now. Here's the target's address. Shanshui Impression Complex. As expected, it was his own home address. Just as Qin Feng was about to leave, a figure stepped in front of him. Sir, please wait. I heard you're buying boss coordinates. I've got one, a gold tier boss. Interested? It's 100 days of tradable lifespan. Pay after you see the boss. It's a bit of a hike, but I'll guide you there. The boss is called Plague Wreath. You going solo? Wanting to find you a healer? That thing has a toxic aura. Qin Feng waved her off. Not necessary. The Plague Wreath was indeed a gold tier boss with a deadly poison field. Anyone who entered its radius took constant damage. But for him, just a few quick strikes would do the trick. The woman soon led him to a cave entrance. The boss is inside. My squad already cleared the mobs, but we couldn't beat the boss. She pointed to the swamp below. Look, there it is, right in the center. Turned out she wasn't lying. Qin Feng transferred her the 100-day reward on the spot. The poison damage was dodgeable. His Phantom Blur, with 75% evasion, would be perfect for this fight. But then, the woman suddenly looked awkward. One thing I should probably mention. This was actually a trap. The moment you start fighting, a group will ambush you. They've got reaction boosting gear, tier 2 stuff, she whispered. They told me to stall you, then ambush you and extract your real-world identity. Qin Feng's expression didn't change. What kind of dumbass plan is that? The woman blushed with guilt. I didn't have a choice, okay? I just wanted to come clean. If you're gonna be mad, take it out on the guy behind this. They're blackmailing me IRL. His name is Dongfang Xian. In-game ID, Idol Cloud. Word is you killed him once. Of course, it was that clown who tried to steal Qin Feng's Golden Ghost ship boss, then sent over a skill book begging for forgiveness. The woman looked at him with pleading eyes. You killed Song Fei. You can definitely take him out too. I'm being straight with you now. Please don't sell me out. And if you happen to take Dongfang out too, that'd be great. Otherwise, I'm screwed. Qin Feng paused for a moment. This is the guy pulling the strings? With a plan this childish? No wonder I never heard of him in my past life. He probably got killed off early. Whatever. He'll make a decent warm-up kill today. With that, he launched into the air using Shadow Step. Stick to the plan. Lure them in. I'll handle the rest. Seeing him charge in solo, the woman panicked. Wait, don't go in alone. Dongfang Xian brought 18 people here last time and still got wiped in under 30 seconds. The boss's poison aura is brutal. They couldn't even chip off 5% of its HP. I don't care how strong Shadow is. There's no way he survives that. I'm about to get out of here. Qin Feng activated Divine Execution without hesitation. He instantly followed up with weak spot amplification, then slashed with Throat Cutter, striking the boss's weak point. With Shadow amplifying the burst, the damage skyrocketed, tens of thousands in a single flurry. As the numbers stacked rapidly, the boss's HP dropped to just 1/3 in seconds. The woman watching was stunned. No way. One combo did over 80,000 damage. Is he even human? But after that devastating burst, Qin Feng suddenly backed off. Divine Execution had a 25-second cooldown. With a 75% cooldown reduction, it'd be ready again in just 14.3 seconds. So he chose to wait. Let Dongfang Xian's crew walk right into the trap while his skills reset. Just then, Torches lit up the cave entrance. A voice roared, "Everyone ready? We're taking down this boss. Kill anyone who gets in our way." Qin Feng's eyes narrowed. Song Fei. He's teamed up with Dong Fangxian again. Their plans seem to involve sending in some curvy chick with snowy white skin to stall the others. But seriously? Just one woman to block 10 guys? A second later, Qin Feng realized he had underestimated her. She casually pulled out a gold tier shield. No wonder she was picked for the stunt. With that kind of defense, almost no one in the early game could break through. She probably got lucky with a divine blessing and looted a golden tier chest. Taking advantage of the white-skinned woman stalling the others, Qin Feng instantly launched a shadow slash. The sound of steel rang out, and several men dropped dead on the spot. He snapped open his eyes and unleashed Blooming Curse. Scarlet flowers erupted across the battlefield, draining lifespan from his victims. In mere seconds, they were completely sucked dry. The curvy woman looked horrified. What the hell was that? One skill wiped them out. And those blood-red flowers, thank God I didn't follow Dong Fangxian's orders. I'd be dead right now. Big bro, want to add me as a friend? I can tell you where Dong Fangxian lives IRL. And if you ever need special services, I'd be happy to provide. Free of charge, of course. Qin Feng froze. Wait, so that's what she does for a living? No wonder she's so enthusiastic. But he wasn't interested. Instead, he fired off a burst shot straight at the boss. Congratulations. You've slain the Plague Reef. Rewards. Massive EXP, 7 evolution points, and 555 days of tradable lifespan. Qin Feng scoffed. Sucked lifespan from over a dozen people, and it still didn't match the boss drop. These idiots should have just grinded mobs, but no, they had to throw themselves at me. The pale-skinned woman gave a polite farewell and quickly left without causing trouble. As soon as she was gone, Qin Feng activated Greedy Hand. It had been a while since he looted a proper assassin skill book, and finally he got one, Platinum tier. Darkest Hour unleashes a burst of dark energy from your blade, blinding all nearby enemies. Cooldown 60, a blinding skill. Now that was a game changer. If he could trigger blindness, even without being in stealth, he could still deal double damage. This meant that no matter how high a boss's reaction stat was, it wouldn't affect his DPS anymore. And as a bonus, he also scored a Platinum tier assassin weapon, Plague Blade. It had 216 base attack, plus 42 agility weakness, plus 0.3 attack multiplier, and every hit applied poison. The toxin detonated after 3 seconds, dealing 50% bonus damage. It was another harvest-rich day. Qin Feng now had 98 evolution points, just a few more to evolve Greedy Hand into Legendary tier. With only 10,000 EXP left to reach his class advancement, he didn't feel like running around. These mobs nearby will do just fine for warm-ups. Soon, Qin Feng hit the 10,000 EXP mark, finally ready for his class advancement. The moment he confirmed it, golden energy surged through his body like flowing water. It overflowed, swirling rapidly around his eyes in a brilliant vortex. Your shadow class has advanced from Tier 0 to Tier 1. Strength and Constitution increased from 3 to 9. Agility jumped from 8 to 24. Spirit tripled to 15. He also unlocked a powerful passive. Stealth duration is doubled, and he can now recast stealth while already stealthed. His stealth level has risen to Tier 2. Qin Feng grinned. Even at just Tier 1, his stats had already tripled. If his cooldowns were fast enough, he could practically go perma-stealth. And it didn't stop there. Attacks launched from outside enemy vision now dealt 3x damage, up from 2x. All this for Tier 1? No wonder it was called the strongest hidden class. That's when the system announcement echoed. 7 players in the Zhanghai region have reached level 10. The portal to the Forsaken Divine Realm will open in 10 minutes. Eligible players prepare for transfer. It was only 8:30 p.m., yet so many players in Zhanghai City had already hit level 10. Qin Feng glanced at the leaderboard. Most of the top spots were now filled with familiar local names. In his past life, this exact moment was dominated by foreign players. Looked like all the gear and skills he sold to Wang Meng were already shifting the power balance. This time, maybe the global structure would change entirely. That thought made him grin. Meanwhile, in the real world, a report came in. The main members of the Jiang Syndicate have been arrested. However, 3 key figures remain inside the Divine Gear game. Their physical bodies are inactive, awaiting further instructions. Contacting you immediately. Find a way to force them offline. Even if they're hiding in a safe zone, the body's hunger in the real world will eventually force them out. We were lucky to have Shadow on our side. He not only gave us intel on De Jiang's criminal network, but also warned us early about the ability extraction system. Had we been any later, their leaders, especially Jiang Li, would have hit level 10 and escaped. That would have been a bloodbath. Some countries are already in full chaos, with death tolls in the tens of thousands. The only reason our squad made it to level 10 so fast is because of the gear Shadow gave us. He's one of Daxia's rare strategic assets. Do whatever it takes to keep him on our side. At that moment, Qin Feng had just returned to the safety of the main town. As soon as he arrived, he got a private message from the curvy, white-skinned woman. "Big bro, you're amazing. A real hero of the people. I want to be your woman." Qin Feng replied coldly. "The hell are you on about now? Spit it out, or shut it." She stuck out her tongue playfully. "Don't be shy, / the government already made your kill public. They're saying Song Fei and Jiang Li were part of De Jiang's criminal ops, and you took them out on official orders." Qin Feng smirked. So, the authorities were working hard to clean up his image. Clearly, they wanted a closer relationship going forward. But right now, that didn't matter. His top priority was getting to the Forsaken Divine Realm. Everything else could wait. Many players were already using the regular town portal, but the continent-level portal, the one that led to the Forsaken Divine Realm, still remained inactive for everyone except him. The current town was nothing more than a starter village. The real battlefield was the Forsaken Divine Realm. That's when someone noticed the continent portal lighting up. Huh, did someone just teleport? I didn't see anyone. Who else could it be besides Shadow, idiot? He probably has Tier 2 anti-detection already. We can't see him at all. Moments later, Qin Feng materialized at his destination. He looked around and muttered, just like in my previous life, the ruins of Jianghai City. Exactly the same. When players first arrive at the Forsaken Divine Realm, they always land in the ruins of their own hometown. And oddly enough, the geography matches the real world perfectly. Why that is, no one's ever figured it out. But suddenly, swish, a sound cut through the air. Qin Feng turned his head. A massive tentacled creature burst out from underground, baring its teeth as it glared at him. It charged straight at him, and when it landed, boom, a crater nearly 100 meters wide exploded into the earth. Qin Feng instantly activated Phantom Blur. Taking advantage of the creature's blinded state, he unleashed Shadow Slash, slicing the tentacled beast clean into pieces. But no sooner had he killed one than several more emerged, surrounding him from all sides. Without hesitation, Qin Feng leapt into the air, narrowly dodging another strike. He immediately activated Divine Execution, following up with a second Shadow Slash. A flurry of blinding sword strikes followed, and the remaining monsters were cut clean in half, collapsing behind him. This place had no safe zones like the starter towns. Monsters lurked in every direction. One mistake and you were dead. But if he could find a hidden shelter within the ruins, he could set up a base and dominate the area. The best shelter in Jianghai's ruins was to the northwest. In his past life, that's where the Godslayer Guild had its headquarters. Meanwhile, Wang Ming's squad had just arrived at the Forsaken Divine Realm. This is it, the Forsaken Realm? Looks like a post-apocalyptic movie set. That's when Lizzie realized something. Wait a sec, this isn't just any ruins. This is Jiangnan City. Look, that's the Xiangyang Tower. Didn't Shadow already teleport in ahead of us? Where is he? Gu Ishue replied calmly. Stop looking. Shadow's probably already cloaked. Before she even finished speaking, several monsters came charging at them. Wang Ming didn't hesitate. He stepped forward with his shield raised. Gu Ishue reacted just as fast, casting Elven Blessing to buff his defense. But the creatures were too fast. They closed the distance in a flash. Clang! A brutal impact slammed into Wang Meng's shield, dealing over 1,000 damage instantly. "Watch out," Gu Ishua warned. "These things hit harder than silver-buffed elites back in town." Understood, Wang Meng instantly fired a binding shot, locking the monster in place. The creature screeched and froze, bound by glowing chains. "Tamba nuke it," Wang Meng called out. The Lizzie started chanting under his breath. A massive flame orb of prophecy formed above his hand, crackling with heat. The orb swelled bigger and brighter. With a loud shout, "Go!" He hurled it forward like a meteor. Boom! Down it goes. Wang Ming cheered. "Nice one to Lizzie." "Just in case," he added quickly, "Ishua, send your owl to scout the terrain around us." As they scanned the area, a chilling realization hit. The place was crawling with monsters. The noise from their fight had already drawn in several of them, and more were converging fast. Worse yet, there wasn't a single safe zone in sight for miles. "No safe zone." Wang Ming's expression twisted in disbelief. One of the male teammates cursed. "What kind of broken continent is this?" "We're in survival mode now," the Lizzie shouted. "Ishua, can you locate Shadow? He got here just 10 minutes earlier. If we find him, we might actually survive this." The owl scouted the ruins for a while, but came back with nothing. No sign of anyone. But then, a faint light flickered from the northwest. The ground was littered with monster loot. No doubt the aftermath of Shadow's slaughter. He probably didn't bother picking them up because his inventory was already full. But before they could head that way, a wave of monsters surged toward them, surrounding them from all directions. The real fight was just beginning, and you shouted, "Everyone, head toward the light. That's where Shadow is. Stay in formation and don't fall behind. We fight as we move." Meanwhile, Qin Feng was effortlessly cutting down the monsters on his side. These creatures posed no threat to him at all. Even without using the active effect of graceful redemption, his Shadow Slash alone dealt over 20,000 damage, easily one-shotting every enemy. It was the perfect place for grinding. Soon, he arrived at his destination. Beneath the ruins at his feet lay a massive underground palace, his future stronghold. In his previous life, this place remained hidden for a long time. The palace held over 1,000 resting rooms and dozens of halls. It was the largest shelter in Jianghai City and once served as the headquarters of his Godslayer Guild. But before it was occupied, it functioned as a dungeon filled with traps, monsters, and a powerful guardian boss. The larger the shelter, the stronger the guardian. In his last life, it took 3 elite squads, 18 level, 15 players fully geared, to barely conquer it. But in this life, Qin Feng alone was enough. He arrived at the entrance to the palace, the so-called Sanctum of Purity. The system prompt rang out. Defeat the regional guardian to claim ownership of this area. And just like that, the monsters detected his presence and charged at him without hesitation. The monsters before him were level, 12 gold rank elites, known as elemental spirits, no real threat to Qin Feng. Without hesitation, he activated the Darkest Hour skill, instantly blinding the spirits. Taking advantage of their disoriented state, Qin Feng launched a swift Shadow Slash. In a flash of blinding swordlight, several elemental spirits were sliced clean in half. The reason he could one-shot them so easily was simple. When enemies are blinded, all of Qin Feng's attacks deal bonus damage. Even basic strikes could instantly kill level 12 mobs like these. In no time, he had wiped out all 15 enemies in the hall. But the Sanctum of Purity was massive, with dozens of halls and over 1,000 rooms. Clearing the entire place would be no small feat. Judging from the sheer number of monsters in this hideout, Qin Feng estimated that once he finished cleaning it out, he'd have enough points to evolve his Hand of Greed once again. After clearing all the mobs in the area, Qin Feng was finally ready to face the true boss guarding the zone. Meanwhile, more players had arrived in the Forsaken Land of the Gods. One of them looked around in confusion. "Wait, this is the Forsaken Land? Why does it look so familiar? Look at that statue, no way. That's the Statue of Liberty. Isn't this New York? No, this place looks like the ruins of Shanshang. And over there, That's definitely London in ruins. Don't tell me. Everyone's being teleported to a ruined version of their real-world city? And the map matches actual geography too. Just as they were trying to make sense of it, two massive shadows loomed behind them. Turning around, they froze. Two towering tentacle monsters were charging straight at them. Run, but it was too late. Their screams of agony were quickly silenced. Back in the Zhanghai ruins, Wang Ming and his squad managed to reach a temporary safe spot. No enemies nearby. Let's catch our breath for now. And you couldn't help but praise that shadow for you. We thought we were strong, but in front of him, we're just trembling under his protection. Hearing that, Wang Ming immediately cleared his throat. Captain, please mind your words. Delizy added with a sigh. Good thing the boss cleared this whole area before us. Otherwise, we'd be dead meat. Now I'm really curious. If we die here, where do we even respawn? Wang Ming suggested. Let's hold off on fighting. Once everyone hits level 10, we'll move as a group. All the monsters here are wiped out, but Shadow is nowhere to be seen. And there's loot all over the ground. I wonder if he even wants it. After thinking it over, Wang Ming decided to message Qin Feng. Meanwhile, Qin Feng was deep in battle, still mowing down monsters. He had already cleared over 40 halls and 1,000 rooms, slaying more than 400 mobs, including 4 bronze tier bosses and 2 silver tier ones. The grind had earned him over 80,000 EXP, and his evolution points had reached 205, just 5 away from upgrading Hand of Greed again. Then, a message from Wang Ming popped up. Yo boss, you there? We saw the loot you left behind. Mind if we pick it up and pay you in lifespan based on market rate? Realizing they'd made it to the ruins too, Qin Feng agreed. He had some gear to offload anyway. Cool, we'll wait for you by the cover ruins, Wang Ming replied. Suddenly, the statue near Qin Feng began to spark. Electrical currents crackled across its surface. In the blink of an eye, bolts of lightning surged straight toward him. He didn't even flinch. Instead, he smirked. The Guardian was finally showing itself. Just as expected, a humanoid energy figure appeared, resembling Zerath. It was a level 15 platinum boss, Solkli Answer Faisal, Guardian of the Forbidden Sanctuary. The system prompt echoed. Defeat the boss to claim ownership of the Soul Cleanse grounds. In the entire city ruin, level 15 was the highest monster tier, and Solkli Answer Faisal was the apex predator. A platinum-grade boss with a whopping 750,000 HP, and his fight was divided into 3 deadly phases. In his previous life, this guy's lightning attacks were pure devastation. Even warriors in full gold gear got shredded like paper. But now, Qin Feng wasn't even fazed. Without hesitation, he unleashed a shadow slash. A flurry of blades tore through the air as he darted behind the boss in an instant. The Solkli Answer twisted around, trying to sense where Qin Feng had gone. Qin Feng didn't give him the chance. With precise timing, he struck with a throat cut, slicing deep into the Guardian's neck. Black blood spurted out like a geyser. Enraged, the boss raised his lightning spear high into the air. Electricity surged from his body to the weapon's tip. Then, with a furious roar, he slammed it down. Massive arcs of lightning rained from above, turning the entire area into a death zone. With his current defenses and lightning resistance, Qin Feng knew one direct hit would mean instant death. Platinum tier bosses had hit correction mechanics. His 75% evasion would normally reduce enemy accuracy to 25%, but against this boss, hit rate climbed past 50%. But with a blazing 182 agility, Qin Feng's full-speed burst exceeded 40 meters per second, more than fast enough to outrun falling lightning. In his past life, Qin Feng barely survived this phase with his entire guild, relying on priest shields and sheer luck. But this time, he wasn't giving the boss any chance to strike. With a deadly combo of Heaven's Mercy, Shadow, Slash, and Plague Blade, he slashed a whopping 250,000 HP off the boss in seconds. That triggered Phase 2, Solkli Answer's invincible state. Lightning orbs started forming all around, ready to strike. If he didn't destroy at least 3 of them, the boss would go berserk. He remembered how last time the guild wiped during the berserk phase. Qin Xiaoyu threw a tantrum, refusing to raid again. Ironically, the clear came easily the moment she wasn't on the team. This time, each orb destroyed would chip away at the boss's health. Take down all three, and Phase 3 would kick in. Without wasting a second, Qin Feng hurled a toxic throwing dagger toward the third orb. It landed dead center. By his calculations, the third phase was coming right up. Sure enough, lightning surged into the boss's core. His aura intensified like a raging storm. Boom! Just as expected, Phase 3 began, with Solcleancer unleashing massive AoE lightning attacks nonstop. In his previous life, they needed full sets of lightning resist gear and 4 priests on shields just to survive. But this time around, Qin Feng wasn't going to play it safe. He was going all in. He vaulted into the air, straight over the boss's head, summoning the Blacklight Shield for protection. If the ground was a death zone, then he'd fight from above. With a flash, Heaven's Mercy shot out again. Hidden in stealth and cloaked in dark energy, Qin Feng charged like a phantom blade toward the boss's vitals. Then Qin Feng's eyes suddenly sharpened. He was ready to end this. Shadow Slash. EX activated in a flash. With a burst of blinding light, the lightning inside Solcleancer's body exploded, and his helmet was blasted clean off. A crisp system chime echoed, ding. Congratulations. You have slain the Platinum Tier boss / Solcleancer Faisal. Qin Feng leveled up to 11, gaining 4 points in intelligence, 10 free attribute points, 20 evolution points, and 1,520 days of tradable lifespan. Because this was a world-first kill, he was also awarded 10 reputation points and was officially recognized as the owner of the Solok Sanctuary. The sanctuary wasn't just a hideout. It came with a private storage system, full shelter functionality, and more importantly, it could be extracted into the real world. Ever since the Divine Gear system began merging with reality, conventional weapons had started failing. Even nuclear missiles became useless on day one. Planes and tanks might last a month or two, but they too would eventually become worthless scrap. In short, future battles in the real world would depend entirely on power extracted from the Divine Gear game. And once a sanctuary was extracted, it could activate a magical defense barrier, turning it into a true safe haven in the apocalypse. In his previous life, Qin Feng had built the Godslayer Guild with the Solok Sanctuary as their base. While there were unforgettable memories, he had also witnessed endless backstabbing and schemes. But this time, there would be no guild, no allies. He would grow stronger alone, all the way to the top. Meanwhile, on the other side of the game, Qin Xiaoyu was once again dragging her whole team down. Faced with a giant pig-headed monster wielding an axe, she actually dropped her staff and screamed, "Help!" Crack! In the next moment, she was split in two. All she could do was watch herself get sent back to the respawn spring. Along with the shame, she lost 14 years of untradeable lifespan and 2 days of tradable time. One of the male teammates immediately messaged her in rage. "You dumb healer. That axe was massive. Why didn't you dodge?" But Qin Xiaoyu snapped back. "Who the hell are you calling dumb? You're the tank. If you don't keep aggro, how is it my fault I got hit? Go die." The man exploded. "It was a freaking AoE attack. How the hell am I supposed to tank that? You brainless troll." Just then, her bestie yelled over comms, "Xiaoyu, the tank ran. The boss is coming for me. Help me." Wham! The giant axe came crashing down, and with a buzz, her bestie respawned right next to her at the spring. Her bestie finally had enough. "Xiaoyu, this isn't working. Let's just farm mobs and level up first. We're running out of lifespan." Qin Xiaoyu sighed and nodded. There was no better plan. But just then, a global system announcement boomed. Player / Shadow has achieved the world's first solo kill of a platinum level boss. Reputation +10. Holy crap. First platinum kill. And solo. This guy's insane. There's barely anyone in that zone. No doubt Shadow did it alone. Qin Xiaoyu stared at the screen in disbelief. Soloed a platinum boss? I haven't even seen a gold tier one. Why the hell is everyone around me so useless? We struggle with a silver tier boss, and that bastard just casually wipes out platinum like it's nothing. Back on Shadow's side, he had now reached level 11. After level 10, Every level grants 4 all-attribute points and 10 free points. He dumped them all into agility. Combined with infinite stealth, he could even take down bosses without getting scratched. What surprised him most was that the Platinum boss had rewarded him with 20 evolution points, enough to evolve Greedy Hand into legendary rank. At the legendary level, Greedy Hand grants a 300 to 500% chance to gain bonus loot, and all loot is automatically upgraded by 1 tier. Even better, it unlocked a new passive, Greedy Space, which lets him store up to 100 items. For Shadow, this was nothing short of game-breaking. Without hesitation, Qin Feng activated Greedy Hand again, instantly receiving 5 bonus loot drops and 100 evolution points. Among the spoils were 2 high-tier assassin gears and a skill book, but his current level wasn't high enough to equip them yet. He stored them in his hideout's vault for later use. With a flick of his hand, he summoned his devout follower, ordering it to organize and categorize all the loot. He still had 115 evolution points left, more than enough to upgrade his remaining non-epic skills. Shadow Meld, now evolved 3 times, boosted invisibility duration to 60 seconds. Its break stealth attack damage climbed from 300% to 500%, and cooldown dropped from 22 to just 15 seconds. Backstab Wound was also upgraded, increasing the bleeding damage from 50% to 75%. Darkest Hour hit Epic Tier 2, emitting a surge of black light that blinds all enemies within a 50-meter radius, up from 20 m, lasting 16 seconds instead of 10. Targets with higher mental stats recover faster. Blooming Curse advanced to Legendary. It could now be cast on player corpses within 60 seconds of death. Once drained, the body would vanish entirely. But the real game changer? The new passive, the ability to absorb non-tradable lifespan energy orbs. In many high-level zones, bosses generate rage zones that drain lifespan at 100x or even 10,000x the normal rate, especially non-tradable lifespan. Now that he could absorb them, Qin Feng had effectively gained an infinite lifeline. Just then, a message popped up from a player named Milky Snow. Congrats on the Platinum boss, first kill, Big Bro Shadow. Oh, and great news, that jerk Dongfang Xian just logged off. Milky Snow continued. I overheard that their family's planning a meetup at Jiangnan Hotel. They've been hoarding lifespan and are prepping to convert it into combat power in-game. Qin Feng replied, You did well. She added nervously, It's the least I could do, but please you have to take down Dongfang Xian or I'm screwed. Qin Feng reassured her calmly, I'll handle it. Meanwhile, his devout follower had finished organizing the loot. He checked his inventory, still half empty. This 100-slot bag from Greedy Hand is really coming in clutch. Time to find Wang Meng and offload this gear. As soon as he arrived, and you lit up with excitement. Shadow Bro, you're finally back. She ran toward him with open arms, clearly about to hug him. But Qin Feng slapped her hand away without hesitation. Men and women should keep their distance. Same rules as always. I set the price. Take it or leave it. These 30 bronze tier junk items? Giving you a deal, 950 tradable days. And you didn't even blink. I estimated the stuff we picked up is worth over 1,000 days. Let's round it up to 2,000, fair? Qin Feng then pulled out another stash, silver, gold, and even platinum gear. This batch, 18,000 days. And Yu's eyes lit up at the mention of platinum. I barely have 1 gold item on me. Only a real boss would sell off platinum gear like this. Shadow Bro, you're insane, in the best way. With this, Jianghai City's gonna power up fast. Thank you so much. That's when Bigley noticed Qin Feng's backpack. Boss, how do you have so many inventory slots? Are you Doraemon or something? Qin Feng didn't bother explaining. Your packs must be full by now. Heads up, beneath the statue in the center of the city ruins, there's a hidden staircase. Go down, and you'll find a teleportation circle that leads back to the starter town. But it costs 500 tradable days to use it. Returning here is free, though. Think it over. With that, he turned and walked away without looking back. And you, meanwhile, was fangirling hard. See, I told you he's a reincarnator. How else would he know stuff like that? Wang Ming shuddered. Captain, and please, you're scaring me." But he was unfazed. "What if I tried seducing Shadow?" That line left Wang Ming and Bigley completely dumbfounded. Wait, is this really our mature and reliable captain? And Qin Feng, of course, paid them no mind. He had far more important things to do: transfer his in-game power to the real world. It was time for level syncing and class promotion, double progression. First up, skill extraction. His real-world version of stealth was only level 1. He planned to max it out and pull more skills into reality while he was at it. In no time, stealth was boosted to level 10. He spent 900 tradable days to extract backstab boost. Another 1,000 days for greedy hand. Then came a barrage of high-level skills: Shadow Slash, Phantom Demon, Blooming Curse, and Blacklight Shield, all synced to the real world. System prompt: extraction complete. Remaining tradable lifespan: 7,480 days. Next were the gear upgrades. He dropped 3,600 days to extract the golden tier boots of concealment, then spent 3,394 days on the golden tier devotee's pendant. Not only did it reduce cooldowns, it also summoned a silver tier follower, who was basically unstoppable in the real world. After cashing out nearly everything, Qin Feng was left with only 486 days of tradable lifespan. While his real-world strength was now almost on par with his in-game power, he still needed to earn more lifespan to achieve full sync during his next logout. In his past life, Qian Shishir had discovered his address. To be safe, he had to move immediately. Extracting the Forbidden Soul Zone into the real world would cost over 1,300 years of lifespan, a price he couldn't afford just yet. A temporary shelter would have to do. With that thought, he slowly raised his right hand. Greedy Hand activated in an instant. To his surprise, the storage space was more powerful than expected. Everything in the room vanished into it within seconds. Jiangnan Restaurant, where Dongfang Xian was currently located, was about 15 kilometers away. With Qin Feng's current speed, he'd get there in under 10 minutes. At that very moment, Dongfang Xian was dining and discussing plans. From what we've observed, game abilities and lifespan directly affect the real world. This presents an enormous opportunity for our Dongfang family. His grandfather nodded approvingly. "You've done well, Xiener. You've already laid the foundation for our power in the game." Dongfang Xian smiled modestly. "This is my duty, Grandpa." Clearly pleased with his grandson's attitude, the old man added, "Your growth makes me proud. We've acquired a huge stock of tradable lifespan to buy top-tier gear and skill books. The goal is to level our family's core members to 10 as fast as possible. With our dual-track strategy, in-game and in reality, our Dongfang clan will dominate. A legacy lasting 10,000 years, even an everlasting dynasty, is within reach." But Dongfang Xian's eyes were filled with malice as he sat in silence. That damn old fossil. Half his body's in the grave, yet he still clings to the clan leader's seat and dreams of immortality. "Once I catch Shadow, I'll force the secret out of him. Then I'll make him earn lifespan for me. And once I reach the top of the leaderboard, all of them will pay with their lives." Meanwhile, his grandfather spoke again. "By the way, about that Shadow guy. How's your plan going?" Dongfang Xian quickly assured him, "Don't worry, Grandpa. I've already assigned someone trustworthy to investigate his identity. We'll have results soon." What he didn't know was, outside the building, all the guards had already been taken out by Qin Feng. But unexpectedly, these wealthy elites actually had firearms. Shadow Clone and Blacklight Shield weren't foolproof, and since he hadn't extracted any armor into the real world, a shot to the head or heart would mean instant death. To be safe, he summoned his devout follower, a silver tier boss with razor-sharp claws and green flames for ranged attacks. "Go. Leave no survivors." As a silver tier boss, the devout follower had high endurance and could tank bullets with ease. The people inside finally noticed the monster's presence, but it was already too late. The devout follower lunged forward like a cannonball. Startled, the group quickly raised their pistols, only to realize this wasn't human. It was a creature from the artifact game. Panic surged as they pulled their triggers. But even as bullets tore through its body, the monster didn't flinch. It slashed violently, flinging men across the room. One claw pierced straight into a bald man's chest. Dongfang Xian froze in terror, too scared to move. His grandfather screamed, "Xianer, help me!" But Dongfang Xian had no intention of helping. Seeing his chance, he slipped away while the monster was occupied, vanishing into the distance. Dongfang Xian ran for his life, convinced that entering the game would save him. He planned to reach level 10 quickly, extract his powers into reality, and return untouchable. But what he didn't know was that Qin Feng had already laid an ambush in his escape path. The last thing Dongfang Xian saw was the world flipped upside down, because his head had already been severed by Qin Feng's blade. Even in death, he couldn't believe how swiftly it ended. But that was the price for crossing someone like Qin Feng. As the blooming curse drained away for 5 minutes, Qin Feng gained 27,000 tradable days of lifespan and 482 years of untradable lifespan. To Qin Feng, this was an unexpected windfall. The skill not only erased all traces of bodies and blood, but also squeezed every last drop of lifespan from the victims. Now holding over 2,327 years of untradable life, Qin Feng could venture into even the deadliest berserk zones without fear. Meanwhile, security guards rushed in after hearing the gunshots and screams. "Call the police. The Dongfang family was having a banquet in there. Something terrible must have happened." But once inside, the lead guard froze in shock. "What the? There's no one here. That firefight was real. Did anyone see them leave? The entire Dongfang family has just vanished." By then, Qin Feng had already left the hotel, hidden in full stealth. Qin Feng's next target was the Qian Corporation. Before the game descended, they had already relocated to North America. Only Qian Shishir was still stranded in the Magic City. He had to take her out before she could leave the country. From Jianghai to the Magic City was over 300 kilometers. Walking would take at least 2 hours. He needed to find him out fast. Without hesitation, Qin Feng logged back into the game. There were still plenty of silver and gold tier bosses in the ruins. He decided to clear them out first. Just then, a message came in from Inu. Apparently, Delizy had stumbled upon the entrance to a tomb, but guarding it was a powerful gold tier wraith, far beyond their ability to handle. So they turned to Qin Feng for help. On their way back to the starting town, they had taken a detour to avoid monsters. But somewhere along the way, one of them went missing. After searching for a while, they finally realized that Delizy had fallen into the tomb. Since it was a special zone, even team chat had been disabled. Left with no choice, they followed the pit down and soon discovered a level 12 gold tier boss. That thing had chased them through 18 city blocks with its dual blades. Luckily, they made it back to Becktown in one piece. "Boss, if you're heading there, I'll send you the coordinates." Qin Feng couldn't help but marvel. What kind of lucky draw was that? Stepping on a hidden tomb in the ruins? Tombs like these were rare field encounters, just like faith temples or cursed ruins, and they only appeared randomly. "All right, and you, send me the location. Any loot I get, you can have it all." He knew this woman was always sharp when it came to business. Soon enough, Qin Feng arrived at the marked coordinates. Judging by the well's shape, this had to be the entrance. But seriously, how does someone manage to fall into a hole that big? Delizy really was something else. Without hesitation, Qin Feng jumped in. The system chimed in immediately. "You have entered the tomb of resentment. Remote communication is now disabled." He had barely taken a few steps when a pair of crimson eyes glared back at him. A furious roar echoed through the tomb. As he got closer, he saw it clearly. A massive wraith wielding 2 giant blades. Eyes locked straight on him, just as Inu described. Qin Feng hadn't faced this boss in his previous life, but judging by its size alone, its attack power and range had to be brutal. No wonder Inu's team ran for their lives. And come to think of it, none of the gear or skill books he sold them were defense-oriented. Even Wang Meng, a holy shield warrior with 5,000 HP, had nearly half his health wiped out from a single strike. Qin Feng knew that if he took a direct hit, it would be instant death. He dodged the wraith strike with practiced ease, then seized the opening right after its attack lag to unleash divine execution and phantom slash. Even though the boss had high defense and his Phantom Slash dealt only 80% of its usual damage in this zone, it didn't matter. The follow-up bleed effect from Divine Execution was more than enough to take it down. But to his surprise, the monster had a final trick. Its corpse suddenly began to swell. Qin Feng's instincts screamed danger. He tried to retreat, but it was already too late. The corpse exploded in a violent blast. Luckily, his Ghost Blur skill auto-triggered at the last moment, saving him from certain death. Damn, I let my guard down. Didn't expect a corpse explosion from this thing. It reminded him of a similar moment from his past life. His team had just taken down a boss, and one guy rushed to loot it, only to get blown to pieces. Some weaker teams even got wiped by such tricks, but that was usually Platinum tier or higher. Today he had truly seen it all. A gold tier tomb boss pulling off a corpse bomb. Still, the rewards were decent. 1,010 days of tradable lifespan and 20 evolution points. Plus, a Platinum tier skill book, Shadow Ring Blade, and a Platinum Wraith leather armor looted with Greedy Hand. Shadow Ring Blade was an assassin-type AoE skill. The user channels dark energy into spinning blades, dealing shadow damage within a 5-meter radius and adding 500 bonus dark element damage. This is divine luck. Qin Feng grinned. As an assassin, Qin Feng's spirit stat was higher than his strength, giving him much stronger magic damage than most monsters. He decided to evolve Shadow Ring Blade to Epic Grade and see what it could do. After the upgrade, its range expanded from 5 meters to 12 meters, and its dark element damage increased from 500 to 1,300. Though the range boost was solid, it was still an AoE skill, so its single target burst was weaker than Phantom Slash. Still, it was perfect for mob clearing. Phantom Slash only hit in a straight 5-meter line, but Shadow Ring Blade dealt circular damage, making it far more efficient when surrounded. The Wraith Armor's special effect wasn't that impressive, but its base defense, resistance, and block stats were top-notch. Qin Feng didn't hesitate to replace his level 5 gold tier Ghost Fire Armor. The rest of the loot added up to over 20 items. After selling them all, he earned more than 10,000 days of tradable lifespan. With that done, he was ready to explore the tomb. If a mount dropped along the way, that'd be even better. Things weren't looking good for Qin Xiaoyu's team. Even a mid-level goblin could one-shot their entire squad. Zhang Wei completely lost it. Qin Xiaoyu, you useless airhead. Every damn time you get us wiped. I've only got 2 years of untradable lifespan left. He shoved her to the ground and shouted, "If I see you at school, you're done for." With that, he logged off in a rage. Her best friend hesitantly offered, "Hey, how about we go to my parents' town? There's a volunteer group there that helps newbies and people who aren't good at the game." Qin Xiaoyu exploded. "Zhang Wei, just you wait. That worthless trash dares to yell at me? I swear I'll find a simp who's way better than you." Then she turned to her friend and snapped, "If you want to go, go alone." She immediately logged out. Back in the real world, Qin Xiaoyu gritted her teeth. "I'm finding a powerful simp right now to carry me through levels." Qin Xiaoyu quickly grabbed her phone and sent a message. "Henin, can you help me level up?" The reply came almost instantly. "Sure, 1 level, 1 night. I want to see how that Ice Queen acts in bed." Furious, she slammed the call shut. "You disgusting freak, go eat dirt." Next, she messaged another guy. "Zhang Huayo, I've actually always liked you. It's just that my brother Qin Feng was always controlling me, so I never accepted your confession. But now I've cut ties with him. We can finally be together." Zhang Huayo just sneered. "You kidding me? If you can ditch your own brother, who knows what you'd do to me? Get lost. Song Xiao, can you carry me through some levels? Ma Ji, I'm so bored. Want to play with me?" Every reply, she got told her the same thing. Buzz off. News had already spread. She was the one who got Zhang Wei killed in the game. Ugh, useless scumbags, all of them. She tossed her phone on the bed, gritting her teeth. Only 2 years of untradable lifespan left. What the hell am I going to do? That's when a familiar name crept in her mind. The brother she'd sworn to cut ties with, Qin Feng. Qin Xiaoyu thought to herself, "There's no way my brother would just leave me hanging. He always had a way to fix things. I'll go find him." She soon arrived at the apartment building where Qin Feng used to live. A few sweet words and a proper apology. He'll definitely forgive me, she plotted. Just play soft for now. Let him carry me in the game again. He's always doted on me since we were kids. Once I level up and no longer have to worry about lifespan, I'll cut him off for good. Genius move, shall you? But no matter how hard she knocked, there was no response from inside. Her temper flared up, old habits kicked in, and she kicked the door open. What she saw inside left her frozen. The bed, the desk, his clothes, everything was gone. She dialed his number, only to find his phone was off. Where the hell could he have gone? She muttered, stunned. Meanwhile, Qin Feng had already reached the deepest part of the grudge tomb. Most of the mobs were cleared, and the end was just ahead. He had slain over 200 monsters on the way, including multiple bronze and silver bosses. He was just shy of reaching level 12. Staring at the coffin before him, he thought, this should be the final boss. Hopefully, it's a platinum one. Without hesitation, he commanded his devout follower to open the coffin. But the moment he gave the order, a wave of dread washed over him. Black miasma burst out of the coffin, sending the devout follower flying. A system prompt followed. Your summoned devout follower has been slain. A death miasma from a gold tier boss? Damn it. Of all things, why this disgusting type? No form, full immunity to physical damage. Qin Feng recalled how, in his previous life, someone had carelessly released this boss. It spread uncontrollably, reaching nearby strongholds and causing massive casualties among clueless players. Anyone who got possessed by was pretty much doomed, unless a teammate could cleanse them or they had some invincibility type skill to bail themselves out. But this time, Qin Feng had already come prepared. He immediately unleashed Dark Knight Ringblade. The boss was immune to physical damage, but this skill dealt magical damage. Taking it down was practically effortless. Strangely enough, despite its clear platinum level strength, the system still marked it as a gold tier boss. That probably meant the loot would be gold grade at best. Without hesitation, Qin Feng cast Greedy Hand to snatch up the drops. Clearing out this whole tomb only to get basic gold loot? Seriously? That's just stingy. Before he could finish ranting, the system chimed in. Congratulations! You've obtained a rare item / mount bell. His eyes lit up. No way. I actually got a mount. Guess my lucky streak is real after all. Mount bell. Upon use, it summons a level 1 Ghost Night Wolf that can both assist in battle and be ridden as a mount. It's one of the fastest early game mounts available, and it levels up by sharing experience with its owner. Ghost Night Wolf Skill Overview. Sprint. Boosts movement speed by 245% when activated. At night, the wolf enters a permanent stealth state, level 1. Attacking breaks stealth and adds 120 shadow break damage. Stealth resets 60 seconds after becoming visible. Pounce combo. Leaps at a single target up to 3 times, each hit dealing plus 267 physical damage. Howl of the Wolf. Grants all allied units plus 35 attack, physical defense, and elemental resistances for 1,800 seconds. Cooldown, 600 seconds. This wasn't just a mount. It was practically a combat pet with stealth capabilities. Qin Feng had hit the jackpot. Without hesitation, he decided to hunt nearby monsters to level the Night Wolf up to 15. Once he had enough life essence stored to extract the mount into the real world, he'd log out, rush to Modu, and eliminate Qian Shishir for good. Before long, he arrived at the Jianghai Coliseum. The arena spanned a massive area with 2 underground layers, filled with monsters and complex terrain, perfect for efficient grinding. It was a battleground fit only for the strong. Soon, he spotted several monsters ahead. Before Qin Feng could act, the Night Wolf lunged forward like a missile. He followed up without hesitation, unleashing Shadow Blink Slash and shredding the group of monsters into dust. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ruins, an Yu squad was busy fighting off monsters. Then Yu casually brushed her hair aside, a satisfied smile on her face. Nice. Taken care of. At once, Ma Naoyang, son of a high-ranking official in Jianghai, clapped with admiration. Captain, and is incredible. That damage is insane. Dragon Knight really is a hidden OP class. As expected of the woman Ma Naoyang, had my eyes on. But you ignored his praise, frowning slightly. That was just an 8-star gold boss, and it still took us 10 whole minutes. I can't imagine how Shadow managed to solo a platinum tier boss. Ma scoffed under his breath. He's just a sneaky little assassin. Probably cheese grinded the boss to death. People like that never make it to the top. In his mind, and you wasn't backed by any big names. Winning her over was only a matter of time for someone of his status. But you shot back without hesitation. Shouldn't a range class like you be the one best suited for kiting bosses to death? Ma Naoyang's face flushed red with frustration. I'm a man of honor. I don't stoop to those cheap tactics. Then he added darkly, word is this Shadow guy has a nasty reputation in real life, cold-blooded and violent. The Modu police already have him listed as a level 3 threat. If you ask me, we should set a trap and lure him out. Either we recruit him into the official force, or we shut him down for good. Otherwise, we'll keep getting messy incidents like the Song Fei and Jiangli cases. I'm not cleaning up after him every time. That remark left Wang Ming and Yu dumbfounded. They glanced at each other in disbelief. Then both of them burst out laughing. Seriously, Ma? You still don't get it? The guy soloed the world's first gold tier boss and the first platinum tier boss. And you think pissing him off is a good idea instead of trying to ally with him? We're not the ones covering for him. We have to. That's the only way we get on the same side and earn his trust. What? Did a creeper eat your brain? Hey, go easy on him. He's a second-gen kid. Aren't they supposed to be brainless by default? Shoo, don't tease him too hard, he might cry. Ma Naoyang's face turned red with rage. Damn that Shadow. He's just a squishy assassin. Once his threat level gets high and the rest of you nobodies dare to lecture me, and you just wait. I'll smear Shadow's name, drag him out hiding, and when I do, you'll be the one begging me on your knees. But Yu and Wang Ming paid him no attention. What did that boss drop? A gold tier priest item, a silver piece, and a skill book. That guy just casually racks up gold, and even platinum loot drops. How many elite bosses has he killed? Is his trait something like treasure hunter or what? Maybe he's been looting hidden chests all along. Suddenly, Wang Ming's expression turned serious. Captain, and this might sound a bit paranoid, but I've been thinking about the Jiangnan Hotel case. You know, the mass disappearance involving the Dongfang family. Everyone at that gathering just vanished. If Shadow was the one behind it, should we really be covering for him? We still don't know what kind of person he is in real life. What if he really is a cold-blooded serial killer? And you nodded. I know the case you're referring to. The higher-ups are taking it seriously too. Many are speculating it's connected to Shadow. But the truth is, there's no evidence tying him to it. Her cheeks flushed slightly, but her tone remained firm. Even if it was Shadow, I'd still choose to work with him. Even if the higher-ups won't back him up, I will. Wang Ming stared at her, stunned. Why would you say that? And you shrugged playfully. Come on, who wouldn't want to get close to Shadow's legendary skills? Just then, a team member ran over. Captain, we found an arena-like area up ahead, but all the monsters inside are already dead. We have no idea which team cleared it. It's completely wiped. And you raised her arm decisively. Let's go check it out. As soon as they arrived, the place was littered with loot. Whoa, this is insane. Look at all these drops. There must have been hundreds of mobs. What kind of team could pull this off? And you replied without hesitation. Who else but Shadow? Start looking around. He might still be nearby. Ma Naoyang scoffed. And what makes you so sure he did it? And you replied calmly. He's rank number 1. Our official team is right behind him, and we couldn't do this. So unless you know someone better, any more questions? Ma Naoyang flew into another rage. TCH, big deal. If I had stealth like him, I could do it too. Just takes a little longer, that's all. Just as the words left Ma Naoyang's mouth, a massive shadow crashed down from above with a thunderous impact. Everyone looked up. There he was, Qin Feng, riding his ghostly night wolf, descending like a dark god. Ma Naoyang froze in shock, his legs buckled, and he collapsed to the ground, his pants visibly soaked with yellow liquid. And you practically swooned. Whoa, is it your mount, Shadow? That's insanely cool. Qin Feng responded flatly. Credit goes to Delizy. He gave me the coordinates. I found it in the tomb. Delizy blushed, and waved his hand awkwardly. It was nothing. Happy to help. Qin Feng glanced at the pile of loot. Let's make the trade. You can bundle it all up and take it. Same rules as always. And you nodded instantly. Understood. We know you always give a fair price, boss. Meanwhile, Ma Analion was fuming. Damn you, Shadow. Humiliating me in front of everyone. You'll regret this. I swear it.